Greetings, family. My having all kinds of technological difficulties for whatever reason this evening. My name is Cassandra-Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I had to do I had to scrap the last live promo that I did and do a whole new one because for whatever reason I scheduled the live from my phone through my YouTube studio and it would not let me broadcast from my laptop. So I had to do it all over. I had to create a whole new live. Anyway, so I'm here. How y'all doing? I see y'all coming in the room. I have a lot to talk about tonight, and I still have a lot to do today. So I'll try to be as concise and organized as I can. Greetings, Erin. How you doing, dear? Yes, let me put that there so I don't make a mess. Yeah, I got a lot to talk to y'all about. Let's see here. I got a lot to talk to y'all about tonight. So let's see. I was running around all day today. As y'all know, I am still trying to execute some type of miraculous resolution to my current quandary. Yes, that's that. So I've been literally running around all day, and I'll be doing the same tomorrow. And I actually contemplated not doing a live, but I felt like it was important. I think if I had the ability, I'll be honest, I'd be doing lives every day. There is just so much going on every single day. And yeah, if I had the ability, I would be doing lives every day. I would be doing lives. I would be doing these spiritual preparations for y'all every day. But that cannot happen as of now. As of now, that cannot happen. But that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. Okay. So anyway, greetings everybody. Hey, Annie Mae Design, how you doing, boo? Aaron, Vayoni, Java Watson, it's Miss D. Yes. So the first thing I want to do is tell y'all, happy Black History Month. We up in here. You feel me? We up in here. There's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot happening in the heavens. And if you have me, tell it it's a great time to be alive. You feel me? I know that's hard to hear right now, considering that that the noise is quite noisy these days. But it's a great time to be alive. And that's how we have to see it. It's a great time to be alive. Let's see if I can clean off the screen a little bit. Well, that didn't make much of a difference. And that's how we have to see it. That's how we have to see it moving forward. That's how we have to prepare for it moving forward. Yeah. So the other thing I want to do is, let me do that before I get too busy. Where? I just got stuff everywhere, y'all. All right. Okay. So let me pull this out. Where's that at? Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I'm in a good mood. Let's do that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Please. Okay, so I'm gonna read the global conspiracy. This is the old version, but I'm not gonna try to find the revised version right now, but it's still pretty much the same. I, Cassandra-Floyd, you place your name as as a peculiar expression of the Almighty and Divine She, am joining in breath with my family to conspire on behalf of the whole made well. We are breathing these words together to ensure that our home, her body, is restored to her original perfect glory, a glory that is perfect in peace, love, bliss, happiness, and ecstasy. This world exists because we collectively will it so right now. We are the representatives of the mother's reign on earth. This beautiful conspiracy is spoken as one cosmic earthly orchestra to guarantee heaven on earth. With the power of with my mother and our mothers, we welcome this glorious conspiracy. We welcome this glorious future into the now. It is as we say, Mommy and I are one. Okay. Then I am, because in recognition of the energy of Black History Month, I want to read a poem for you. This is not my poem. It is written by what is the sister's name? I can't remember her name right off jump, but this is a poem that you can find off their second album. Band I'm always talking to y'all about. If you haven't downloaded all these stuff yet, you need to. The band is called Fertile Ground. They're not together anymore. Fertile Ground, but you can still download all their music. I think they put out 4 or 5 albums before they disbanded. It's called Fertile Ground. They out of Baltimore. This is a poem that's on their second album called An Artist's Prayer. May we forever do our thing. May watermelons spring from our mouths and mountaintops easily from our fingertips. May rats uncomfortably scatter from the radius of our rhythms. Dizziness damaged promptly. Arguments interrupted with imagination. We will seek out ugly and show it us until it feels shame. This is an artist's prayer. We are honored to be an underground railroad in audible form. This profession ain't no hiding place on the battlefield. Does this look like shininess we'll never be able to afford? Bling bling, like nothing but statistics stacked against my people? Sewage drain into a subconscious to pickpocket a future in the midst of a techno takeover by pasteurized alabaster? These notes are made from our intestines, these colors from our bloodlines. Our dance steps are just our tears in portable form. This is an artist's prayer. And because vicious days have gone platinum, may all our poems go ruby. We extra with the red to set the rainbow off after the storm. Fat ain't gonna be enough to describe this to a friend. Our eyes just in time to witness, of course, a metamorphosis. Woe to those trying to stop these African bees from making honey. Our babies, with their smiles, will be our actual masterpieces. We give thanks for, we ask for forgiveness for. We are just mothers that can't help ourselves. A franchise of the very beginning, trying to stick to that moment in time when it was said, let there be light. Ashe, 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 oh, woo, woo. Every time I read it, every time I hear it, chills from head to toe. So that is called An Artist's Prayer by the band formerly known as Fertile Ground. I encourage you to literally download everything they ever did. Everything they ever did is gold. It's great. Okay. I want to take a minute. There's a whole bunch I got going on. I want to take a minute to shout out those who have those who are paid members of my YouTube channel. That is Lejay, Guahan Goddess, Luis, Sons of Brahmana, Shy Boy Shades, Karma Camille Aliyah, FG Apothecary Company, Lindsay Bork, voiceover by Stephanie Marie, Jean Pham, Bay Soul, Faye the Ford, Jai Thomas, Claudia Ancra, Chloe Dior, It's Miss D, Goddess Daja, Carib Cinnamon, Hanifa Nyla, Janet Kim, paid members of my YouTube channel as of 2 days ago. So I will check again tomorrow. Also, I didn't write it down. That is my bad, and I can't check right now because I'm also streaming from my phone. But there are several donations that have come through in the last 24 hours that I need to shout out to. Thank you all for your generous donations in assisting me with this call. That I cut it out now. Damn. Let's see. Okay, so that's that. All right. And I believe that is all. Oh, so yes. So those of you who are tuning in, you'll be hearing a lot more over the next 48 hours. I've put it out a couple of times. I'm going to be putting it out more in the next next 48 hours about my situation and about having received this notice. We got notice on, I think it was Friday, that the city has rejected the proposal. The city council has rejected the proposal to extend so what they did as soon as the fires happened was they created a rent moratorium that was twofold. It was to prevent landlords from jacking up the rent, both for current renters and for potential renters, and then also to put a stay on evictions, right? And so there was a proposal put before the city council last week to extend that rent moratorium to people who may not have been directly impacted by the fire, but whose work was tied to those who were directly impacted by the fire. So that was a lot of freaking people. They're estimating 175,000 people have been indirectly impacted via work by this fire. That is people who were doing like lawn care and lawn service. That was people who were housekeepers or maids, nannies, people who were doing like, like gig work, like Lyft or like, what do you call it? Uber Eats, stuff like that. Uber Eats. Myself, I work through an app, so I'm an independent contractor. And I was going to the majority of the places that I was going are the same places that were predominantly impacted by these fires, right? And so there was a proposal put before them to expand the parameters of the rent. I'm not going to tell y'all to stop it again. The rent moratorium to include those who were directly impacted, and I'm talking about directly impacted in terms of work, right? So those who didn't have any direct damage, and I had some damage done to my apartment. It wasn't much. FEMA's already come out, but that was not even closely going to take care of the fact that since those fires happened on the 6th, started on the 7th, I have technically been unemployed, right? So anyway, long story short, a week after the fires, I got a notice that I have until the end of the day tomorrow to vacate the premises or pay the 1.5 months rent that I am now technically behind to stay in my place. And so those of you who've been hearing me talk about this for the last maybe 4 days, thank you so much for heeding the call and sending your donations, booking your readings. So many people have booked readings with me. I appreciate that so much. And the readings have been radical, by the way. The readings have been really, 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 really good. And I feel like that's because, one, a lot of readings I did on Oya's feast day, which was on yesterday. And then the day before Oya's feast day, which I did a whole long live talking to y'all about the connection between Brigitte, Saint Brigitte and Saint Teresa and Oya, and how those 2 days, the first and the second, were both being celebrated. And so I did a lot of readings this weekend, and they were pretty radical. So those are ways that you can support. You can support. There have been several people who have supported my Etsy store. So you guys know that freaking forever, since like 2008, I think is when I launched my Etsy store. I've been making culturally conscious jewelry. So I have a sale going on for the entire month of Black History Month, at 10% off the entire store. So you can go to my jewelry store and support this call that I am making. So that is, that is, let me burn something. That is, you can go to my jewelry store, which is DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. Let me take a second and find something to burn. You know what? Let's see here. Yes, let's do that. Do that. Yes, let's do that. Yes. So I appreciate you so much. Yeah, in the last 3 weeks, I've just keeping my other bills paid. I've pretty much burnt through what little savings I had. And then a week after the fires were officially out, my freaking brakes gave out. So that was another $400. It's just been, I ain't tripping. You feel me? Like, I'm not tripping. I'm just saying, like, shit is crazy out here. It is really, really crazy out here. And it's really revealing. It's really shining the light on like how like, where's all my burning stuff? On how I hold on, let me handle these cats too. Because this shit is dumb. It's just gonna have to be a part of the regular preparation for lives, is to put these dudes in the room. Because as soon as I get up on here, they be doing the most. I said, cut it out. All right. Hopefully splitting them up will calm them down, because they're doing too damn much. All right. So yes. So what it's done is it's really revealed, and I think this is not just here. I think that this has been ongoing for the last year, is like this constant revealing of how inefficient and ineffective local governments are. Because whether you're talking about the hurricane that happened last year that reached all the way into North Carolina and caused all that destruction in North Carolina, or the next they on it. Is it a necessary component of doing a live? She said, I feel like the live is always consecrated by the cats getting kicked out, because they don't start cutting up until I start talking. Anyway, whether it's, all these catastrophes that happened last year, whether it's the fires this year, especially for the last year, but even since COVID, what is happening, I feel like it's necessary. I'll be honest. I feel like it has to happen. It's not comfortable, whether it's Trump taking the White House, like, here you have, for the first time in the history of this orchestration called the United States government, right? And all of its little, things, Supreme Court and the legislature and all of this shit. For the first time in the history of this country, you have someone who represents a lot of firsts for this country. The first, convicted felon 37 convictions. The first person to be president, not concurrently, but with the presidency in between. Just so many first, right? Represented by this. And it's easy, even for myself, y'all. So please believe me when I say that I am human. I have human feelings and human responses. And though I keep my shit together, I have been extremely stressed. I have been extremely concerned, obviously, about my current situation, trying by myself for 2, 3, almost 4 weeks because even before the fires happened, I had been sick with pneumonia for 2 weeks. So I was already plotting and scheming on how to get back in front of, as opposed to behind on my rent. And then this shit, right? Because I couldn't afford to take 2 weeks off. That was the point, right? And so I was sick in here for 2 weeks, had 1 week of good work, and then all of a sudden these fires happened. And so I, even since I was sick, I had been in here plotting and scheming, right? And then finally I had to say something out loud. Like, I have been everything I can possibly think of. I have been, plotting and scheming, right? Anyway, what this thing in LA and Altadena has done, it to me, is not different from any other of the other crises that I mentioned before, is that it really revealed this thing in particular in LA, to see it up close and in real time. Baby, when I tell you that there is no problem that we ourselves, we the people together, cannot solve, because if it had not been, I'm trying to give you a word, if it had not been for the literal thousands of nonprofits, of grassroots organizations, of individual people, even stores in Altadena that were surrounded on all sides by other businesses that have been burnt to the ground, staying open 24 hours a day, stores, individuals, people's homes. If it had not been for the outpouring, the immediate outpouring of the community, I'm talking about these small organizations, these nonprofits, even these churches, and and individuals and stuff and businesses, this shit would have been so much more chaotic, because in all of the doings that all of these people have come together to do, fundraisers and impromptu concerts and all kinds of stuff I've seen happening in the city. If the people had not come together, this shit would have been so much more chaotic. What it did is it really shined the light on the extraordinarily gross weaknesses of city government. That's what it did. But it didn't just shine the light on the weaknesses of city government. What it did is it exposed the fallacy that we need governments. We need governments in order to be safe, in order to be functional, in order for things to run and work smoothly, that we need these people that we put into positions of power to represent us, yet they never do. That in a time of crisis in a city, Los Angeles, that is one of the 3 largest economies in the country, not in the state, in the country, and that it resides within the state, California, that has the 5th largest economy on the planet, on Earth. And something like this, a crisis where people pay 12% sales tax. So even the homeless pay 12% sales tax, right? And in an emergency like this, of this magnitude, that these people who, even the city council members, their salaries are anywhere from $125,000 to $175,000 a year to sit on the city council, that in a crisis did, when I tell you absolutely nothing, I'm telling you nothing. It really shines the light on the fallacy of the need for rulers, on that who we call elected officials, rulers, on the need for, quote, governments like these. The same thing everywhere else. It's always the people that show up. It's always people on the ground, people in the community, people who ain't even tied to organization, people who ain't even quote political activists, just people saying, this is crazy. Why is it taking so long for our city government to respond? Fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. And that's exactly what happened in the city. I'm telling you, while y'all watching on TV, Trump come to LA and sit in a meeting with the mayor, and they, tit for tatting on why are y'all tit for tatting on a panel, and then the mayor and what's her name, the mayor and the chief of police tit for tatting, blaming each other, right? Everybody tit for tatting. Everybody's distracted on some bullshit ass narrative tossed up in the mix while people are literally right now today in crisis. When I tell you, you can watch the news and watch the TV here in this city, and it is like the shit happened a year ago. It's like the shit happened a year ago. Like, it's like business as usual. The fight is just now today, February 3rd. The fires officially were quelled. What was it? 2 weeks ago, right? Like, fires out, imminent threat over. 2 weeks. And it's like business as usual. It's stupefying to me to drive through portions of the city that literal, y'all, I ain't never seen no shit like it. The only time I've ever seen anything like it is on TV. Even after hurricanes, I lived in Florida for 15 years. I've never seen anything like it except on TV, where you can drive through areas of this city and it's decimated like a goddamn war zone. Decimated like a war zone, y'all. And so I'm trying to, because it's easy. That's the whole shock and awe thing I was telling you about. It's just a succussion, just a succession of boom, crisis event. You can't even recover from a crisis event before you are confronted with another one, whether it's from afar or right up in your face. This shit is crazy. And nobody, and the other thing that nobody is talking about, that is, even as it appears to be business as usual, people going out, people, going to work, traffic is still crazy, whatever. That baby, I talked to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was one of many in my direct circle, in my immediate circle, who lost everything. When I say everything, he was one of the ones I was telling y'all about. That's why I'm convinced this shit was deliberate. If I am convinced, at least Altadena, that shit was deliberate. You can't convince me otherwise. Because I know him. And he is a parent. He co-parents with his ex-wife. They split time. So his daughter is with him 4 days a week. And I know him as a parent. I've known this man 20 years. So I know him. He'd have been like, if he would have been told that the threat was severe, he would have taken his time, packed up the very important things to him and his child, and then he would have proceeded to leave. But he, just like many, many others are saying, in that area, Altadena, we're saying that the freaking fire department methodically went from neighborhood to neighborhood, block to block, door to door, tat, 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 tat. Don't take anything. Y'all gonna be all right. The smoke is just blowing in y'all direction. The danger is not imminent. We just want to evacuate y'all for the smoke. Y'all will be back either today or tomorrow. And so people was like, all right, cool. I'll just leave my stuff. And then before the sun went down the same day, they come back to retrieve items, and everything that they had, everything that they owned was gone. Everything. The videos of this man's house when he had to walk because the fire trucks wouldn't even let them up to their neighborhood. He had to walk 2 miles just to get to his house, park his car on the side of the road, and he gets to his house and there is nothing left but the fucking fireplace. Nothing. And I talked to him yesterday. It's been a few days, maybe about 5 days since I talked to him last. And he's staying with his partner far away, right? And That is the thing that is most concerning to me, is because I know how I feel most days since it happened, since the fire started. I know how I feel in my body emotionally. And I don't talk about it often, but I know how I feel in my body emotionally because of this thing. And talking to him, man, yesterday, that shit about did me. Because I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I can't even begin to imagine. And the problem is while it's fucking business as usual out here, people are still in shock. People are literally still in shock. He told me, he said, I wake up every day. Every day. This grown man, he 4 or 5 years older than me. I wake up every day hoping that it is a dream, that this was just a terrible nightmare and it was not real. He said, every day I wake up in shock all over again. Like, where do I even begin? Living in this home that he had been living in for 20 years. Where do I even start? What do I do? He's sad. He's depressed because he don't have a home and his partner lives so far away in a whole nother county that he cannot share his responsibility in co-parenting his child. Now he can only see his baby every other weekend because he ain't got no house to bring her to. Y'all. And I know this man, he a man's man. He what you would call an alpha male. For him to admit that, in and of itself, I knew took a lot. I could hear like, and even today, my sitar teacher, who I told y'all also lost everything. Even I talked to him today because he's been doing a lot. It's our generation, that generation X and older. It's like, even as a crisis happens, we like crisis managing. We just like crisis, just make it happen. Moving through on autopilot to deal with crisis, not realizing that you need to be processing very real shock until you sit down for a half a minute and realize that you are fucked up. And that's how he called me today. Fucked up. Not having realized how severe what it is he is experiencing and the toll that it's having on his fucking body, on his life. And I know what it is because I live by myself. And there are some days, man, if I was not talking to y'all on this live, it's the only time my mouth is open. All day. I'm not exaggerating. All day. I can go days without talking to another human, without seeing another human, and not opening my mouth, not saying a word until I get up on here to talk to you guys. And anyway, I ain't trying to be Debbie Downer, but I'm just telling y'all, this shit is actively real. This shit is actively real. Yes, the fires have ended, but I just don't know. I don't know. They're saying, it's going to be a minimum of 18 months to resolve the damage that's been done to the city. Yet they won't extend rent moratoriums to the estimated 175,000 people who have actively lost work as a consequence of the fires. So anyway, those of you who have reached out, those of you who have supported through purchasing jewelry, those of you who have supported through getting readings and wellness consultations, and those of you who have been generous enough to just give straight up donations, I am so much more grateful than you can possibly imagine. I hear you, Sage Page. And even still, even as I haven't been really vocal about what I have been experiencing personally, emotionally in this place by myself, surrounded on all sides by people who have lost everything. And I'll be honest, feeling a little bit like guilty or like hesitant about even seeking out help. I'm like, well, damn, yes, I'm having this situation, I'm having this crisis, but I got skills, I got know-how, you feel me? So I am not going to ask for the help that's available like locally. I haven't been to any of the food banks, yet I'm not working. I haven't worked for a fucking month. Right? I haven't been to any of the local food banks. I just got up the gumption to fill out an application with FEMA Thursday, and they came out Friday, and I was a nervous wreck. I was like, man, they're gonna think I'm like trying to take advantage of the system, because the only damage that I had was to my balcony. It was like wind damage, which they were counting, right? And so they counted it and they told me how much I was going to get. And it ain't much. I'm grateful for it, but I knew. And so I was like, all right, cool. Something is better than nothing. But I felt guilty about asking for that. The whole time I'm waiting for the dude to come to the house to see my balcony and all the shit that was destroyed on my balcony. I was like, he going to look at me like I'm an asshole. That was the thing I was thinking. Even when he got here, I was like, a nervous wreck. Literally my heart beating out of my chest. He gonna think I'm like trying to get over. He gonna think I'm trying to get over. That's the whole thing. The whole time I'm thinking. And so even though I haven't really talked much, and I haven't talked much because I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk much about my personal feelings or like emotions about my personal life, right? Still trying to do what? Right? Trying to do the temple services and do the temple study and do the lives to put y'all on game, because despite the noise, despite the distractions, despite the campaign of shock and awe, there is something that we are having to do. There's a call that we have. There's a charge that we have. And it's my responsibility. I've taken it on as my responsibility to put us on game all the time, every opportunity. I'm so glad. I was exhausted. I was so exhausted last Wednesday. I'm not going to lie. I was tired as hell. And everything in me, all my little conditioning was like, stay at home, go to sleep. You ain't got to go out there. Ain't nobody coming. You feel me? I'm talking about on the new moon. I'm talking about on that new moon. I'm talking about on that new moon. Everything in me was like, stay at home, stay asleep, stay at home. That is the trauma. God damn it. That's the fucking shock. That is, child, listen. I'm trying to give y'all a motherfucking word. That shit. And so everything in me was fighting it. God, I don't want to haul all this shit up the mountain. Damn, once I park, I still got to hike up the mountain. You feel me? I didn't want to do none of that. But I was like, you know what? How I'm going to sit up in here, and I done did a 7 hour, a 6 hour, 2 4 hours, and a 3 hour live over the previous days, telling y'all how enormous that new moon was. That Aquarius new moon that is also corresponding to the Chinese New Year. And let me get this dude and put him back in the room with his sister. Come here. No, because y'all doing too much. Yeah. And you go right back there with your sister, because y'all doing way too much. I always want to say the cuts up when I do. I do all the playing y'all want in there. So I told y'all, me and 4 others went up on that mountain. But I was like, I can't, I'd already done my candle ritual. Speaking of which, I'd already done the candle part of the ceremony that I told y'all about, but I still had to go up on that mountain and take advantage of that vortex up on that mountain where the observatory is. And I'm gonna tell you, I was so tired, and it was so cold up there. It's the first time I've lived in California where you breathe and you can see your breath, and my fingertips were freezing and my toes were freezing, even though I had boots on. It was cold. It was wet. It was so many people out there. We get out there calling in the ancestors, bigging up the goddesses, singing our ancestral songs. There was a Filipina sister up there singing traditional songs, a Mexica sister up there singing traditional songs. There was a brother up there. The brother is married to the Filipino sister, you feel me, and they baby. And we went up there and showed right out. And people were walking by. Look, there was hundreds and hundreds. I couldn't believe how many people there was up there at 7 o'clock at night. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, butts loads of people up there that night looking at the conjunction. So this dude was pointing out all the planets and stuff. And we got up there and we got busy. All three of us took our moon blood up there, got busy. And so I haven't talked a lot about what I experienced during the day, like when I'm by myself, when I'm in here, like trying to plot and scheme and trying to like push through very real ass like emotions around everything, just everything. And so anyway, I appreciate y'all. Let's see. I appreciate that, Sage Page. Java Watson, Cassandra, please remember you said all this shit is owed to us. Our ancestors already paid their dues. That's why I went right up on that mountain. Because I believe every word of it. Every word of it. Every word of it. I've been listening to economists all day, talking about everything but what needs to be talked about, saying everything except what needs to be said. Is that there shouldn't be a poor person on earth. There shouldn't be a poor person on earth. And that the only reason that there is a poor person on earth is because their wealth has been stolen. Everybody on earth has paid their dues to solidify their life on their terms 1,000 times over. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Their ancestors have paid their dues. Their greater ancestors have paid all the way back to the beginning of this project called patriarchy, have paid their dues in labor and blood and life lost and sadness and misery and woe and fear. We done paid, like I said the last time, we done paid enough dues. We have done enough free labor. We have done enough unfair wage slavery that our lives should be abundantly secured for at least 400 years, for a minimum of 400 years. So I'll be up in here with an attitude, you feel me? Because I know what's mine. I know what belongs to me. I know what belongs to me. When I got a reading when I was living in Oyotunji African village, this was in 2016 and 2017, and it was it was Chief Shango Bumi who did the reading for me. You know, before you could officially live in the village, you had to go through a series of like rituals, and then you had to get a reading. You know, you had to get a reading to say whether you could stay there or not. You feel me? And I remember the reading that she got, and you know, the reading said, okay, she can stay there or whatever. But at the end, she told me, stand up. I said, okay. And she said, you know, your reading says that you're bound to be wealthy, that your destiny in this life is to be wealthy beyond your imagination. And she said, so what I need you to do is 3 times say, I stand up and greet my, I stand up and greet my wealth. I stand up and greet my wealth. I stand up and greet my wealth. That's how she closed my reading. I was like, I don't know what made me think of that. I just thought about that just now. I haven't thought about that reading since then, probably, right? But she told me that. She said, in this life, you are bound to be wealthy beyond your imagination. So stand up and greet your wealth. Stand up and greet your wealth. I stand up and greet my wealth. I stand up and greet my wealth. I stand up and greet my wealth. That stuck with me, even though I haven't verbalized that in some time. And so I think that's where my frustration comes from, is to know that everything that I desire is mine. But the only way, and this is the shit don't nobody want to talk about, the only way for you to acquire, for you to gain access to, for you to be able to stand up and greet your wealth is to force those who have stolen it to unhand your wealth. That's the shit y'all don't want to do. Y'all want to meditate y'all wealth into your possession. Y'all want to mantra your wealth into your possession. You want to skip the uncomfortable part. Mm-hmm. You want to skip the uncomfortable part? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You want to skip the uncomfortable part. You feel me? Honey, because for you to acknowledge your wealth, for you to stand up and greet your wealth, for you to welcome your wealth means that somebody has to unhand your shit. And that ain't the shit nobody trying to talk about. Whether it's politically, whether it's spiritually, whether it's religiously, whether it's economically, everything's the issue but the issue. That's why listening to these economists all day, all I could do was get frustrated. All I could do was be frustrated. You feel me? That's all I could do. Because all I hear is y'all trying to intellectualize the fact that the only way to save the world, the only way to save human beings, the only way to do all the things that need be done is for those who have consistently and perpetually and unendingly stolen the wealth of the many. And when I say wealth, I mean it all. I mean the labor. I mean the air. I mean the water. I mean the blood. I mean the life. I mean, they have stolen your fucking right to happiness, to joy, to bliss, to truly experience what love is outside of colonialism. The only love you've ever known has been within the context of colonialism. The only love you have experienced is a contorted, broken love that is fighting for itself within the context of imperialism. You don't even know what it feels like to love as a sovereign being. Can you imagine? You don't even know you can't even fathom it. You can't even imagine what love feels like as a sovereign being. You can imagine how extraordinary sex is in a world without oppression. Can't even fathom it. It completely eludes you because you have no frame of reference. What ecstasy can feel like in a world that is inhabited by nothing but sovereign beings, from the first breath to the last, from the microbe to the macro. You understand? And something has occurred in this walk that we have been doing that must be undone. Okay? That must be resolved. I hesitate to use this as an example, but it is the only example that fits adequately in a way that everyone can understand. That the third grader to the aged can understand. This is the analogy that I'm going to use. Because I had a conversation with someone the other night that yeah, anyway. And my response to what they had to say was not important. It was ill-informed. But my response is that I will say a little bit about what he said. He said something to the effect of, we can't pay attention to anything in the outside world. And I even heard somebody say it today that, whatever you give energy to is what you feed. And so it grows, right? And so be mindful. You hear this a lot, right? So be mindful of what you think about or what you give energy to or whatever. And it gets way too close to like spiritual bypassing, right? That narrative gets way too close to spiritual bypassing. And I had an epiphany when this guy was talking this stuff that a lot of quote spiritualists be talking about, focus on the positive, focus on the good, and this is what you'll quote attract into the world, right? See the world the way you want to see it, and this is the world you'll create type of stuff, right? Part of that I agree with, but there has to be some additions made to that. Okay. So I told him I use this as the analogy because it came to me right away. I was like, let's talk about the body. I'm always telling you that your body is perfect. Your body is perfect. You are born perfect. I know that counters, which I've always been told. If you're a Jew, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian, right? I know that counters, which I've always been told. But you were born perfect. You were born perfect. As a matter of fact, you were born the perfect personification of your entire line, your maternal line and your paternal line. You were born perfect, right? And in that perfection, what we call symptoms is your body's perfect self, right? It's perfect orchestration that is interested in nothing other than preserving your existence. That's it. Not only preserving your existence, but making you comfortable in that existence. That's what your body is designed to do, child, is to make you comfortable in that perfect existence. That's what your body is designed to do. That's what homeostasis is. Homeostasis is always this ebbing and flowing attempt to keep you at this place, this homeostatic balance that is comfort, that is optimal health, that is perfect temperature, right? So on and so forth. Okay. And at the juncture that you start to present symptoms, this is your body's perfect alarm system alerting you that something is off in the homeostatic process. Something is not right. So what you call your allergies, and you think that's a disease, your allergies are not a disease. They are your internal alarm system alerting you through clear, runny snot and itchy throat or itchy eyes that something in this environment is off balance with you. Is your external environment is in disharmony with your internal environment, and your internal environment then responds, alerting you to do something to bring yourself back into harmony, right? Whether that's with the environment, you need to change the environment, or whether you need to change your internal environment. But what do? We attempt to turn off the alarm system. That's what we do. We don't resolve the issue. We don't resolve the source of the disharmony. What we attempt to do is shut off the alarm system. What has caused the itchy eyes? What has caused the runny nose? What has caused the itchy throat? We take what? We take antihistamines, right? We take antibiotics. Holy fuck. Goddamn. We take antibiotics. We take antihistamines. We take antimicrobials or whatever. Anti, right? Anti your alarm system. Listen, don't let me get too far off, right? And what that does, it doesn't address the issue that stimulated the alarm system. What it does is cut off the alarm system. It shuts off the alarm system. It shuts off your ability to keep your internal environment in a harmonious ebb and flow, right? And so many years may go by of us ignoring symptoms, whether subtle or whether a little overt, right? Every time the weather changes, your ass get a cold, right? That's a symptom. That's your alarm system, right? a constant kind of nagging, not terrible, but a kind of nagging discomfort in your digestive system. And you just like, I'll just take some antacids, right? Right. And so those things may go for very, very, very long time. And then lo and behold, after many, many, many years of suppressing your alarm system, AKA treating symptoms as a disease, after many, many years, sometimes decades of shutting off, of powering down your alarm system, your immune system, now you feel really sick. Now something's really, really young. Now something's really, really wrong. Okay. And you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor something's wrong. And so they do some tests and you find out the worst possible news you could find out. I want you to rock with me because I'm still talking about our wealth. I'm still talking about what we are owed, what we have earned, not what we're owed, what we have earned, what we have worked for, what our ancestors have worked for, bled for, fought for, died for. That's what I'm still talking about. But I want you to rock with me through this medical analogy, okay? You go to the doctor and you get the worst possible news imaginable. That after years and years and years and years of ignoring your symptoms as something that needed your immediate attention, after years and years and years of ignoring and subduing and shutting down your internal perfect alarm system, and what you're doing in the shutting down of that alarm system is making your internal environment now what's the word I'm looking for? Is you're making your internal system, your internal environment ripe for exploitation. That's perfect. You're making your internal environment. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. God damn. Listen, what you have done, child, is you have made your internal environment ripe for exploitation. You've made your internal environment ripe for exploitation by what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, it's right there. By opportunistic forces. Some of this language we even use in medicine. Child, listen, I'm having a whole motherfucking moment in here. I didn't even go this deep with the dude, but I'm about to go this deep with child, right? Okay, so we use this language, some of this language, even in medicine. So when we talk about the GI, will when we talk about the GI, this will be easy for everybody to understand. Okay, maybe I should draw a picture. Maybe I should draw a picture. Let's do that. When we talk about the GI, which is one of my favorite subjects, actually, and we talk about, let me just draw a picture. Let's see. Okay. This is okay. So those of you who are tuning in via IG, for whatever reason, I can only do 1 hour lives at a time. So this live is going to go off in 20 seconds. I will log it out and then I will reopen another live. Okay. So I'm going to pump the brakes on the analogy until I bring y'all back up live. All right. In the meantime, y'all keep rapping over here on YouTube. Okay, there. Okay. Ooh. All right. Okay. Okay. So this is your GI. This ain't even remotely close to what I was going to do this live about, but we in here. Okay. So this is your GI. And your GI. So this is the internal, this is the external environment. Let me write that. So this portion in your GI is called external. Okay. This portion of your GI is called internal. Do y'all want me to keep going in this trajectory, or should I like simplify this and keep going in the trajectory I was going? Because this is my bag, and so I can get real deep, even though it wasn't anywhere close to what I was intended to talk about. But it is an analogy I'm trying to make. But I don't have to go this deep into the analogy for y'all to get it. So do y'all want me to simplify, or do y'all want me to keep going this way? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, so this section here is considered the external environment. This section here is considered the internal environment. So this portion here that is considered external. So let me just say that when you're talking about the entire gastrointestinal, what's the word I'm looking for? Man, words be eluding me these days. But anyway, basically, from your mouth, your digestive system, okay, from your mouth to your anus is considered outside the body. That tube that is your entire digestive tract is considered outside the body or external. So everything that you consume, drinks, water, and food, is considered outside the body until it gets to the gut, until it gets to the small and large intestines. Okay? And at the point that it gets to the small and large intestines, it goes from outside the body, those things that you consume, right? So I'll put little balls right there. I don't know. I know a lot of us are like well versed if we have diseases or conditions or whatever, but may not have an image in our mind of what we're looking at. So I'm going to draw you an image of what I am talking about. All right. To simplify. Okay. All right. So when food or drinks, everything that we consume that would go through the GI, that would go through the whole digestive tract from mouth to anus, is considered external. It's not a part of self. Okay. Once it gets to the small and large intestines, where ideally it has been broken down and pulverized and added to bile and all the things that have happened up until the point that it crosses into the small intestines, now it is broken down to its bare essentials so that you can, in Chinese medicine, we call it separating the pure from the turbid. Separating the pure from the turbid. So the food has been broken down, the water has been broken down. So now that when it enters the small intestines, the nutrients right? The amino acids, all of the nutrients can now be absorbed into these little vessels, right? So I was always taught that you imagine the GI, you imagine they're called the villi. You imagine the villi. They look like little fingers along the intestinal wall. They look like little fingers, right? The villi. And they're constantly moving through peristalsis, that muscular movement like a snake, that muscular movement, continuing to move everything down, move everything down, move everything down, right? So those little villi have little muscles and they're just moving things along. But down in the valley of the villi are these little vessels, right? Those vessels are blood vessels. Those vessels are veins, arteries, and lymphatic vessels. Veins, arteries, and lymphatic vessels. Okay? So as the villi are moving, aka separating the turbid from the pure, what it needs from this goulash of food that has now been pulverized, it's extracting the nutrients, the good stuff that it needs. That at that moment that the nutrients go into these three sets of vessels, the arteries, the veins, and the lymphatic vessels, this is when the food becomes a part of self. This is when the food in the external environment transitions, breaks the wall, permeates the wall through these little things that look like little trees, right? Breaks the wall and becomes self, becomes a part of self. And those things that the body has identified are turbid, are not a part of self, go out as waste, whether that is waste is primarily is this is waste, is feces. Okay, so those things that are poison, those things that are toxic, those things that the body cannot use to maintain its perfect harmonious environment are excreted as waste. Okay, now there's two reasons that I mentioned the GI in within the context of this discussion that we having about colonialism and imperialism and all of that shit. When you first learn, like if you're in like the medical or health field at all, right? When you first learn about the GI, they tell you that the biggest issue with the GI in the modern world is that when we are born, the reason that nursing is so vital isn't just because we need to eat and we need to eat healthy food. It is because when we nurse, this is the only nursing is the only way. Nursing it provides the only defense that we have. We do not have a functional immune system on our own. It is our mother's immune system that is protecting us. Basically, we're still considered babies. We're still considered in utero. We're still considered completely dependent via nursing until we're 2 years old, because it is not until you're 2 years old, if you have been nursing for 2 years, that you have developed a strong, healthy immune system that can thrive on its own. Okay? Your mother's immuno qualities are fed through her milk, is what allows you to have immune protection while you're nursing, but it also does something else. It is her milk and her immune function and the food that she consumes that you benefit from through her milk is providing the beginnings of your what we call endogenous flora. Your endogenous flora. So think about it like this. What we would call when we talk about like the rainforest in the Congo or the rainforest in the Amazon, and how it's so vital because of the amount of oxygen that it provides for the planet. Not only that, that a great majority of the most powerful medicinal plants come from these places that are what we would call rainforests, right? And so they provide both the medicine and the protection. These rainforests, they provide the medicine and the protection. These rainforests, right? This is what we would call endogenous flora. Okay? Endogenous flora. Are y'all rocking with me? Okay. So say, for the sake of this discussion, that you have had an extraordinarily healthy entry into the world. Your mother breastfed you until you were 2 years old. She was healthy. All the food that she consumed was healthy while she was nursing, right? And so you have a great, wonderful head start in the world. You have in your gut, in your small and large intestine, this extraordinarily untouched, blemishless, what did somebody say here? Ecosystem in your large and small intestines. Well, your what we call our immune system or our immune function, 85% of our immune function is in our gut. 85% of our immune function is in the gut. This is why endogenous flora is so extraordinarily important. I'm gonna tell y'all something else that's gonna fuck y'all up, but I'll hold for a second. Okay, this is your native flora, your endogenous flora, transferred to you by your mama through the nursing process, through the breastfeeding process. Okay, so say you 2 years old, you had a perfect introduction into the world with great, wonderful endogenous flora, right? But for some reason, could be environmental, could be stress, who knows? For some reason, you get sick. And this sickness, maybe in, a nose and throat thing, ends up becoming an ear infection. Okay. This ear infection is driving mama and daddy crazy. They up all night, baby crying all day, all night, pulling at her ears, scratching at her ears, baby going crazy. And even though you don't want to do it, you're like, let's take the baby to the doctor. And of course, by rote, the doctor is going to say, oh, your baby needs some antibiotics, some amoxicillin. You feel me? The little pink medicine. And so you take your baby home and you give your baby, because you trust the doctor, because the doctor know more than you, because he paid a whole lot of money to know more than you. And so you don't think twice. And you give your little baby with his perfectly healthy, wonderful, magnanimous endogenous flora that has never been interrupted. And then you give this baby the little pink medicine. And all that work you did while you were pregnant, and all that work you did the 2 years that you were breastfeeding that baby, is undone with a single dose of amoxicillin. Because antibiotics are exactly what they say. Antibacterial, antibiotics means anti-life. They say it's an antibacterial, but anti and bio, and then you add the ticks to it, right? Anti-life, anti-life, anti-life. And you know what that means, because you know what antibiotics do. And they tell you all the time, it kills everything all along the line of your GI, of your digestive tract. Kills everything. The bad guys and the good guys. Isn't that what the doctors tell you? It kills all the bad guys and the good guys. It's like an atomic bomb going off in your little good. You feel me? And then what do they tell you? As soon as you finish taking your antibiotic, you need to make sure that you do a lot of, quote, probiotics for at least 10 in as much as 30 days. And what do they tell you? What do they tell you is the reason that you need to do that? Anybody know why you need to do that? It's because in the GI, even though we think this is space in between here, if we think this is, even though we envision that this is space in between here, if there's not food going up in between here, this is what it looks like. There's little space in between it, but this is what it looks like. And so what they tell you is that, the side effects of antibiotics is that it kills everything. And they just tell you the good guys and the bad, but they don't explain to you what the good guys are, right? And what they do and what that will mean for you. They just say it'll kill the good guys and the bad guys. And so you got to make sure that you take a lot of probiotics after you take antibiotics to recolonize the space. That's the language that we use. So here I am telling you that your baby's first relationship to antibiotics was to destroy everything that their mother created. All the good guys, all the endogenous flora, right? This is like going in with a fucking bomb to the Amazonian rainforest and decimating all the trees in one fell swoop. And then trying to plant the trees back all at one time after you realize what kind of damage you did. That's what it's like. So your mama did all this work, carried you in her body, you feel me? Fed you good food, let you swing off of titties for 2 years, fed you good food, made sure she ate well so you would get the best that she had to offer to give you a powerhouse of endogenous flora. And then you take an antibiotic and in an instant, it is gone, wiped away like a goddamn atomic bomb just went off in your body. And so what they say is in the killing of both the good guys and the bad guys, this space that is left empty, right, makes room for stronger and makes room for stronger and more opportunistic what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I'll just use that word. It makes room for stronger and more opportunistic forces to quote colonize the space. This is the language that we use in medicine. When we talk about how somebody mentioned it here, how every time you get antibiotics, the warning for women is that if you don't recolonize, that's the language. If you don't recolonize the gut quick enough, you can end up with yeast infections because yeast, which is a fungus, right, is much stronger than bacteria, right? And so if you leave the space empty, right, then it leaves the space empty for these opportunistic forces, microbes, protozoi, and fungus or candida to colonize the space. And this is what makes women in particular more predisposed to yeast infections after a course of antibiotics. And so they tell you that as soon the last day that your antibiotics is over, start eating as many probiotics as you can to quote recolonize the space with good guys. That's the language. Recolonize the space with good guys. The other thing is this process that is created to separate the turbid from the pure. If we have repeated interactions with probiotics, can throw off these sensors. So this little simple diagram that I'm showing you is also the basis behind a great majority of what we are identifying as autoimmune diseases where, quote, the body attacks itself. The body is not attacking itself. I'm sorry. The body is not attacking itself because I told you you were born perfect. What is happening here in the gut is that chronic exposure to antibiotics, strong medications, or other activities that can throw these sensors off. It makes it difficult now for these sensors here to distinguish the turbid from the pure. Okay? That which you must keep and that which you must pass away. And so what happens is over time from chronic inflammation of these things, these factors, right, will cause lesions in the little valleys where the sensors are. And these lesions, through constant inflammation and irritation, will make it so that now fecal matter and other types of things that have no business. Where did I tell you these little trees represented? Your arteries, your veins, and your lymphatic vessels. These never were intended to bring turbid into self. And so over time, these lesions that are creating these misreads in what is pure and unpure, what is turbid and pure, right, what is supposed to be a part of self and what is supposed to pass away as waste, now you have microscopic bits of fecal matter entering into what? The arteries, the veins, and the lymphatic vessels. And the majority of your lymphatic vessels, so you have lymph nodes everywhere, right? You got them behind your neck. You have them here where your thymus gland is. You have them in your inguinal region on both sides of your crotch where your legs meet your body. You have them behind your knees, and then you have them behind your ankles, and you have them in your armpits. You have them in your armpits, right? Your lymph nodes. And this is where the lymphatic vessels pool, if you will. But the greatest location of lymphatic vessels is in your GI, and it spreads out like a giant fan all over your small and large intestines, right? So it's not a small thing when microscopic bits of fecal matter are going directly into the bloodstream, into vis-a-vis the arteries and the veins, and then going into the immune system, which is the lymphatic vessels. Yes, this is what they call leaky gut syndrome. But leaky gut syndrome is primarily the origin of everything that we have identified as some autoimmune disease. Okay? That's one thing. But the other thing that I was saying when I got into this is my jam. You feel me? This is my jam. But I was talking about this to understand the whole idea of like colonization. You feel me? So what I got flipped out about, hold on, where my little note at? Okay. So what did I say? All the things that we have been given, right? Antihistamines, antibiotics, antimicrobials, antifungals. Hold on, what else we be taking? Antacids, right? What else we be taking? Right? All these antacids, right. Okay. And so I the thought that I had was antidepressants, yeah, all these things, right? So think about colonization, think about colonialism, right? Think about imperialism. Okay. What would be the antibiotic to this endogenous flora here? What this endogenous flora is the Earth's people. That's what we're gonna call it. It's the Earth's people living in harmonious union with the Earth. The internal thing here, this is gonna be the Earth, right? And this is us. This beautiful endogenous flora that our great Mother Earth has given us to survive and live harmoniously, right? That's this endogenous flora here. What I was calling the Amazon earlier, this us. We the endogenous flora, okay? And then something happens that functions like an antibiotic. And what did I say antibiotic is? Anti-life. Bio is life. Anti is against, right? Anti against life, right? So we have been given a global antibiotic intended to destroy all the endogenous flora. That's the peoples, that's the animals, that's the trees, that's all the good shit, right? What is that antibiotic that goes in to decimate the population first? What is that? That's religion. Religion was the global antibiotic. Religion. Why? Why would I say that? Because religion was what prefaced. The religions were what prefaced, came before, right? And the reason I say religion is because we take antibiotics because we think it's good for us. Don't we think that? We think antibiotics are good for us because we trust the doctor. Okay? The white guy in a white coat, right? In a white office with a white stethoscope, right? And so, anyway, because we trust the doctor, you feel me? I'm getting to that, Nura Allah. Because we trust the doctor, we willingly bring in the religion. We willingly accepted into our endogenous spaces the religion. The first aggressions weren't necessarily physical aggressions, right? Even now, when you want to pacify a population, what do? You send missionaries. You send missionaries first to pacify a population. If there's some loot in the area you trying to steal, if there's some newfound gold in the area you trying to steal, you don't just go in and bum rush the shit. You feel me? You want to pacify the indigenous population. You want to eradicate the indigenous population, even if that eradication is only here. So the first antibiotic, right, to kill the indigenous, aka the endogenous population, was white religions. Was Christianity. Everywhere. The missionaries preceded, right? The peaceful missionaries bringing word of their superior God to these people who had never seen a white-skinned person, right? They bring they white God and under peace. And then what did I say? That once the antibiotic goes in and kills everything, it makes the environment ripe for exploitation. What does that mean? When I told you that once the environment is ripe for exploitation, this is the medical language, it becomes colonized by fungus or candida, same thing. Candida is a fungus, right? That because candida is so strong and antibiotics don't kill fungus, it only kills bacteria. You feel me? So you killed all the bad bacteria and the good bacteria, and now you done left these funguses that are extremely opportunistic and hard to kill. Anybody that's ever done an anti-candida diet, hard to kill fungus, right? Now has taken up all the space. All the space has been taken up by now these opportunistic forces that are hard to remove and hard to kill. This is the military you was talking about, Nura Allah. The military occupation of the land that had been pacified, the indigenous population that had been wiped out through pacification of ideological warfare. Religion, ideological warfare is what pacified, right? Making it the terrain ripe for exploitation, for military aggression. You feel me? And so fast forward back to my analogy. I hope y'all appreciated the lesson. That was a word. Fast forward to my analogy. I'm telling this guy, I didn't get that deep with him, but I'm telling this guy, after years and years and years of ignoring your health, of ignoring the symptoms, what you call the symptoms, which is your perfect body's alarm system alerting you. Something's wrong, address it now. Something's wrong, address it now. And instead of addressing it now, what do? You take an aspirin, you take a antihistamine, you take an inhaler, you take all of these things. None of these things are healing you. They are bum rushing your defense. They are slowly bum rushing your defenses. Bum rushing your defenses. You feel me? And so I said, imagine after all these years of ignoring your health, ignoring the signs, ignoring what you call symptoms, they are not symptoms. They are alarm calls. And years and years and years and years and years of ignoring alarm calls until finally you can't ignore it no more. You're in pain. Something's wrong. You know something's wrong. You go to the doctor, and the doctor tells you the worst possible thing you could ever be told is that you have cancer. Okay? You have cancer. Okay? And now you have cancer. You have an identifiable tumor in your body, right? That is threatening metastasis. What does metastasis means? It means, say this is the tumor. This is the body of the tumor, right? And these are the little tentacles that come off the tumor. That's why it's called cancer, is because cancer in Latin means crab. And the tumors typically look like crabs. They've got little branches off them, right? And those little branches are what can allow them to move, quote, or metastasize to other places, to other spaces, to other organs, right? So, so the doctor said, like, look, you got cancer, you got a tumor. You feel me? At that juncture, that after years of ignoring your immune system, because that's what you've been doing, after years of ignoring your innate knowing, because that's what your immune system is, after years of attempting to suppress the alarm clock, the alarm system in your perfect body, right? Now, your body is saying, now you have a different choice to make. We've been trying to tell you, your ass been ignoring, your ass been trying to suppress the voice that is your perfect body, right? Now you have a different decision to make. This is what I'm telling the brother when he's talking about that shit that sounds like spiritual bypassing. That as the world is falling apart around you, you need to block that out and only focus on the positive. Only envision the good of the world that you want to see, and it'll miraculously appear. You don't have to do nothing. You just have to meditate and visualize the world perfect. And that visualization will allow the world to just manifest. That's all. It'll just, boop, here's the perfect world that we've been meditating on. That's what's going to happen. And I'm saying, imagine what you just said, that you ain't got to do shit. You just gotta imagine it. And I know some people will say, well, you know, we do have, what do you call it? The placebo effect. And the placebo effect say, if you believe it, that you can heal it without nothing. Okay. I rock with the placebo effect. I do, right? But let me tell you, talking to one who has gone through medical school, 10 years of medical school, 10 years of medical school, right? Say you come to me and you say, look, I got cancer. I just been told I got cancer. I got a tumor. And this is what they say my options are. At that juncture that you have been told that you have a tumor, I'm talking to y'all now, because I propositioned the same thing to him. So at that juncture that you have been told that you have a tumor and that this tumor is life-threatening, you're going to have to take some kind of action to save your life. Listen, you are going to have to take some kind of action to save your life, or this tumor will kill you. Okay? That's what you've been told by the doctor. At this juncture, are you going to say, and I'm asking an honest question, and there's no judgment for how you answer the question. I know what my position is, right? But at this juncture, right? Are you going to what are you going to do? You got options, right? You can have surgery. But typically, no doctor is just going to do surgery on a tumor that threatens metastasis, right? That threatens to go in other directions, right? They're going to want you for safety reasons to go through chemotherapy and a whole barrage of stuff. Chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, right? They're gonna want you to do that. Or you can say, I'm gonna what you gonna do? I'm gonna hedge my bets with natural medicine. I'm gonna go the completely alternative medicine route. That's what I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Now this is from a woman who has a bachelor's degree in alternative medicine. I have a bachelor's degree in professional health sciences with a background in nutrition. I have a master's degree in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. I have an associate's degree in manual therapy. Okay? So I know all things alternative medicine. My graduate program was just as heavy in the Western sciences, or what you call Western medicine, as it was in alternative medicine. So I have studied all the Western sciences, all of them. Okay? I love what has been coined alternative medicine. I believe in it. I have seen and performed miracles with it. But at the juncture that after a decade or 2 decades or 5 decades of ignoring your health and being completely inactive in your health and in your journey, and now you have a tumor that must be surgically removed and barraged with chemo and radiation or alternative medicine, right? Now you have a decision to make. Now, in this decision that I am using as the analogy that I used with this brother, you feel me? The only thing in my mind, let me backtrack. The first thing that must happen, without a doubt, either way, to save your life, the first thing that must happen is that you must excise that tumor. I ain't talking about radiation. I ain't talking about chemotherapy. I ain't talking about herbs, herbal remedies, and modalities. I'm talking about the first conclusion that you must come to is that tumor has got to go. It's me or the tumor. It's me or the tumor, right? Am I wrong? The first thing that you have to decide, the first thing that you have to I'm trying to do something because now I'm getting annoyed. Okay, the first thing you have to decide is that the tumor got to go. It's me or the tumor. The tumor has to go. The tumor has to go. Right? Now, if you make this decision that the tumor has to go, that the tumor must be excised in order for you to continue to live. Right? That's a decision that you have just come to. Right? Is that the tumor got to go. The question is, knowing that that tumor is in your body, knowing that if I had cancer, I would literally be thinking about this entity existing at my expense all day, every day. And I say at my expense because how do tumors survive? How do they thrive? Off your blood, off your oxygen, off what you consume, off the nutrients you consume. The tumor is eating it up, growing itself at your expense, right? The tumor is parasitic. The tumor is parasitic, right? And so knowing if it was me, right? If it was me and I had a tumor with tentacles on it, threatening to metastasize in other areas and other organs, and I know that this thing is in me, I would be thinking about it every day, all day, every day. That would be the first thing on my mind when I wake up, last thing on my mind before I went to sleep. It would be. It would dominate. Listen to what I'm trying to tell y'all, goddamn it. It would dominate every thought of my day, every thought of my life. Every thought of my life would be, damn, this thing inside me. Damn, why am I even eating if I'm not even going to benefit from it? Because this tumor is going to consume all the nutrients, thriving off the oxygen and the blood in my body, growing itself at my expense, this tumor. You hear me? So I guess the analogy that I'm trying to make is to know that this thing, this entity with a life of its own, is benefiting at your expense. It's benefiting at your expense. Are you going to meditate it away? Are you going to ignore its, listen to me, are you going to ignore its existence? Are you going to ignore its existence and just chant mantra and meditate and think happy thoughts? until in your mind it disappears? Is that what you're going to do? Some of you will. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. But if you have this parasite within you that is benefiting literally off all the air you breathe, listen to the word, off the blood in your body, off everything you drink and eat, is occupying even every thought in your mind every day, are you just going to peacefully ignore it and chant mantra and count mala until it withers away? Is that what you're going to do? Or are you going to, now I can tell you what I would do if I was diagnosed with a tumor, with cancer, right? I would say, look, surgeon, you can go ahead and cut that out of me, but I'm going to bypass on your chemo and your radiation. But let's go ahead with this surgery and excise the tumor. And then I got me after that. I'm just giving you a word. I'm just trying to tell you what it is. That would be me. That would be my personal decision if I was confronted with this kind of scenario. Fortunately, that will never happen to me, right? I have not spent a life ignoring, quote, AKA symptoms. I have not spent my life doing that, right? So I'm saying if it were to happen to me, that would be not my decision. Let's go ahead and cut this bitch out. And then after the immediate threat is over, then I can use my herbs. Then I can use my acupuncture. Then I can use what I know how to do to eliminate the residual impact of this entity that was invading my space. You feel what I'm saying? So if this is the, I know that was long and deep. If this is the metaphor that I am using to talk about what needs to be done. You feel me? The acknowledgement that we need to make when talking about the ability to stand up and greet our wealth, to stand up and welcome our wealth, to stand up and welcome our wealth. I'm talking about a metaphor. I'm talking about a metaphor about the nature, the overall nature of cancer itself. I hope I was clear that this was not a necessarily medical lecture that I was giving. It was an analogy about, one, the nature of the cancer that plagues this planet. The nature of the cancer that plagues this planet, right? That uses religious ideology, that uses military occupation, right? That seizes territory and grows itself via metastasis like the arms or tentacles on a tumor. That's what I'm talking about. You feel me? Not to make light of your question, but that is something that we can talk about one-on-one. Okay? That I know, baby, I get it, and I get it. But this is still the analogy that I am making. The GI analogy, the cancer analogy is about the nature of the world that we live in. We exist in a world where cancer has metastasized the globe over, yet we are still talking about we still hold a narrative in our head that we must ignore it, not give energy to it. Not give energy to it. Child, you don't give energy to cancer. Cancer takes it. That's what I just told you. All these spiritualists talking about, don't give energy to that which you don't want to create, right? You don't give energy to capitalism. You don't give energy to colonialism. You don't give energy to imperialism. It takes it. It takes it. It takes it. You don't have to douche. You can be out in the woods somewhere living as a hippie off the grid, and you are still being taken from. That's the nature of this thing. You are still being taken from because you ain't off in the woods by yourself, child. You're part of a whole. And what I keep telling y'all, if one is sick, the whole is sick. If one is sick, the whole is sick. And so for what, you gonna be out in the woods, living off the grid, surviving on the earth by itself as everything around you is falling apart and think you are not gonna be impacted because you'd have moved off grid? Come on, man. Come on. And so the analogy that I use, that if I myself had ever had to make the choice, I would take, what is it called? What is it called? What is the medical terminology for how you treat a cancer that is threatening your life? You take aggressive action. Isn't that the language that they use? You take aggressive action. When they're talking about recolonizing the gut, what do they say? You have to bombard your gut with good guys. What? You have to recolonize the space with good guys so the bad guys don't come back. So the bad guys don't have the opportunity to colonize the space. That's the language. Even in medicine, that's the language. Is you have to aggressively recolonize the space with good guys so the bad guys don't have the opportunity to come back. Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what I'm saying? Is that you have to, if you are confronted after ignoring the global alarm call, the consistent, unending Earth's immune system creating alarm calls all over the place, what some people are calling the polycrisis. Whatever. We are one. There is not a polycrisis. We are one. Within her, we are one. It's not a polycrisis. It's a global crisis. It's a crisis, a singular crisis with a singular origin, a singular cause. A global crisis, what you would call multiple symptoms. Multiple symptoms, right? You got a runny nose and itchy eyes, but you got diarrhea too. You understand? Plus your foot hurt, plus your low back hurt, plus your neck hurt, plus you get chronic headaches. Would you call this a polycrisis? No, you say, I just got multiple symptoms. Me, as the practitioner, I say you got one problem. You got those problems may present in any myriad of ways and symptoms in many myriads of ways, but you have one problem. You have one disharmony. You have one disharmony. It's not a polycrisis. It's a singular global crisis, a singular global crisis. It may present in many ways. It's a singular global crisis. This is our mother's immune system perpetually warning us, perpetually giving us symptoms that this shit cannot go on the way that it goes on. Now, either you're going to do something about it, or I will do something different. Because I don't believe the earth is going nowhere. I really don't. I really do not. What I do believe is that we as human beings are running up on her time clock for us. That's what's happening. We running up on our time clock for us. She's like, look, y'all keep with this bullshit if you want to. Because y'all can be gone. Like y'all ain't existed but a half a second on the timeline that is my body. Y'all ain't existed but a half a second. Y'all can be gone. I'll just chalk it up to a mistake. That was an interesting project. Next, humans. Okay, we won't try that again. We won't try that again. You feel me? So, but the thing about that entire analogy that went on way too long was about the aggressive action at this point necessary to excise this tumor that is causing every symptom that we're seeing on Earth. It has a singular origin, this tumor. It has a singular origin. Though it may have materialized in many different ways, it has a singular origin. And this tumor that has metastasized on all of the organs of our Mother Earth's body. Those are the continents, the organs. Those are the continents, the organs. Those are the continents, the organs. Right? It's metastasized everywhere. It's gone everywhere and reproduced itself everywhere. And us thinking that at this juncture, at this late stage of ignoring the symptoms, right? Or suppressing the symptoms, right? That we just gonna start eating some herbs and everything gonna be all right. At the juncture that now you got a fist-sized tumor in your gut. No, it's not gonna be all right, and herbs is not gonna be enough. Now you have to excise this malignancy that you have allowed to grow on your body for this long. First, you have to excise the immediate threat. Thank you, Zahara, for joining. Thank you for becoming a paid member. Whoop, whoop. Love that. Yeah. First, before you come up with your alternative medicine recovery plan, first you have to excise the immediate threat, because the immediate threat is consuming everything that you eat, everything that you breathe, everything that you drink is being consumed by the tumor in your body. Herbs, the only reason herbs work is because they are super concentrations of those nutrients that you may be deficient in. They're super concentrations. That's what it is. That's why they work along. And then they are bound together by this matrix that's not identifiable. That's why they work, right? Is there super concentrates of vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients. Okay. So look, I'm just telling you that aggressive action is the only action that we can take. And anybody saying anything other than that, I'm sorry, it's spiritual bypassing. People talking about soft revolutions, I don't even know what the fuck that means. I still don't know what the fuck that means. Is that like a new trendy future progressive word for that shit Gandhi was on? What is it? What do you call that shit? Philosophical nonviolence? Is that just a new trendy way to say the same old shit? Is that what that is? A soft revolution. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that means. But anyway, that ain't even close to what I was going to talk to y'all about, but whatever. All right. So now I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to use this now that we are almost at 2 hours. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to, again, for those of you who are just joining or who have been up on here for a while, but I kept talking. So again, I am calling on donations. Technically, I ain't met my goal. So technically, I have 24 hours and I am still about, as of today, I'm still about 2,700 deficient my gold. So there's some things I'm going to be working on tonight. And I will put out some ideas that I have and y'all can tell me what y'all think about it. Like I said, I've just been plotting and scheming. There's some ideas that I came up with today. I wish I would have thought of sooner, but I came up with them today. I'm going to put them out. So anyway, yes. So for those of you who don't know or haven't been on my page for the last 5 days, I have gotten a notice to vacate my property or pay my back rent because I haven't worked in almost a month since the 7th when those fires started here in LA. And I, like many, many others, are in this situation where even though we may have had no or minimal damage to our property, we are indirectly impacted because the kind of work that we do is directly tied to those who were the greatest, those areas that were greatest impact. Majority of those areas are where the majority of my clients were. So I, Nura Allah, I believe, I don't know what it looks. Somebody tell Nura Allah how to become a member, because it doesn't show on my screen the way that it shows on you guys' screen. There should be, as a matter of fact, there is. If you look in the description below the video, in the description box, there is a link. There is a link that says join, something like join or become a member. That it should be like 2 or 3 lines down. that link, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't allow you to click right on it, just copy and paste it into a new tab. That is how you can become a member. And then there are 3 membership like levels. And so you can choose the membership level to become a member of the Daughter of the Fates YouTube channel. And this channel basically functions as the primary channel that I use for building the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, for which I am the founder. So those of you who don't know that are tuning in for IG, the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence is a religious 501c3. So we're still actively in the process of growing it and building it, at least logistically, but it is registered as a legitimate religious 501c3, just FYI. So so just to reiterate, if you need information, like if you want to make a donation to secure my life right now, and you want to get like the paperwork to claim it on your tax, claim it because it's tax deductible. So if you want to claim your donation on your taxes, email me at EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. That's EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. Okay. That email, you can also, and all this stuff is in the description as well below the video. So you can also use that email to email me if you want to schedule a reading, like I do divination. If you want to schedule a divination, if you want to schedule a 5 elements theory wholeness, whole wellness consultation based on 5 elements theory, which is what I practice. If you want to schedule a 1 hour, and with that, the 5 elements theory wellness consultation, within 7 days, I type you up the results, your diagnosis from the intake process. I give you dietary and nutritional recommendations. I also tell you what formulas, if you're presenting with a condition, what formulas you need to be taking and for how long, and then any other additional information that you may need that is specific to how you are presenting at the time that you get your consultation. It's really dope. It's very dynamic. I've never had a single person say, "Oh, that was fucked up. That was bullshit." Every time I do 5 elements wellness consultations, people's minds are blown because I walk you through it. I don't just talk at you. I don't just take information from you. I teach you. Here, I teach you what this looks like in your body. What in your body based on this? What organs are speaking? What organs are in distress or are in disharmony? All of that. And everybody is, and the thing is people's minds aren't just blown. I love 5 elements theory because it simplifies what it means to understand your body, how to recognize what organs are speaking to you through symptomology. These symptoms that we think are unrelated, now when you learn 5 elements theory, now when I do the intake with you, you recognize in an instant what organ is talking to you when you have itchy eyes, or when you have ringing in the ears, or when you have headaches that only happen at the top of your head, or when they all mean something, right? So it's dope. Yay! Nura Allah just became a member. Yay! Thank you so much. Here, let me shout you out. Woo. 2 new members in 1 live. That's awesome. Okay. So you can email me at EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com to book a reading, to book a whole wellness consult, to book a counseling session. I am an ordained minister, but all of that happens really in everything that I do. Anybody that's ever gotten a reading from me, they're like, damn, I cover a lot. Okay. Also, you can support this mission that I'm on through my jewelry store, which is Daughter of the Fates, FATES, DaughterOfTheFates.etsy.com. Everything on the page, everything in my store is 10% off this month for Black History Month. And I have there's some stuff I still haven't even took pictures of and put up yet. But right now, I think I have 387 unique pieces on my jewelry store page. So if there is not anything that you see that you want, but you have an idea for a piece that you want, I also do custom orders. And so you can do that as well. Everything on the site is 10% off for the month of February for Black History Month. So you can support that way. And plus, everything is dope. If you have me tell it, everything is dope. Oh, like, let me show you. This is a piece that I was showing people the other day because it's one of my favorite pieces. That's why I haven't sold it yet. But it's a medallion, and I put different, depending upon what I'm wearing, I'll put different chains on it. So it's been 1 hour again. So those of you who are tuning in via IG, you can either join us over here on YouTube, which is at DaughterOfTheFates in the YouTube search engine, at DaughterOfTheFates, or you can hold on, because as soon as IG has started stopping my videos at 1 hour, and so I have to wait till it goes off and then do another live. So as soon as this goes out, I will bring it back up for another live. Okay. Which is quite annoying, but whatever. Okay, so Vaz says, does the 5 elements theory work with autoimmune disorders? 5 elements theory and Chinese medicine in general is considered a complete system of medicine. So anything that you would go to a Western practitioner for, you can go to an acupuncturist for. You can go to, quote, a doctor of Oriental medicine or acupuncture physician for. Everything. Anything that you would go to a Western practitioner for, you can go to an acupuncturist for. Okay. And the other thing is even though we are trained, we are versed in Western diagnosis, right? Like most people will come to us, well versed in what they have been diagnosed with. And we acknowledge that, right? But the diagnostic process in traditional Chinese medicine, in 5 elements, whatever it is, because there's a whole bunch of modalities of Chinese medicine. 5 elements is just one of many. The diagnostic process is different. Then that's why I take the time that I do to help people understand when I diagnose them, because the diagnostic process is wildly different than what you are accustomed to. You know, you get some blood work, the doctor says what your symptoms is, and he says, it sounds like this, right? Or he does, or he looks at certain markers in your blood work and says, it looks like this. I know how to read blood panels. I know how to read radiology, all of that stuff. But even still, we take into account what your Western diagnosis is, but our diagnostic process is completely different. And that's why I take the time that I do. I draw that 5 elements theory star. I draw that for everybody that I consult with. And then I explain in pictures what it is they're looking at in their body that is producing these symptoms that have been called autoimmune disorder or whatever. Okay. Because even like something like diabetes, for example, diabetes or high blood pressure in Western medicine, that's your, quote, diagnosis. Your diagnosis is diabetes. Your diagnosis is high blood pressure. In Chinese pathology Chinese pathology, there are 5 different causes. There are 5 different organ pathologies that in the West are all called, quote, diabetes. There are 5 different organ pathologies that in the West is just umbrella. This is diabetes, right? Same thing with high blood pressure. High blood pressure is not a disease in Chinese medicine. It's not. High blood pressure is not a disease. It is a symptom of some type of organ disharmony. And elevated blood pressure or high blood pressure in traditional Chinese medicine too has 5 different pathogenesis, right? There are 5 different causes for what in the West is called high blood pressure. And the analogy that I use all the time is like, say you have a 24-year-old. I think I've even told you guys this. You have a 24 72-year-old black male college athlete. Okay. And he has been diagnosed with high blood pressure. And then you have a 72-year-old obese female that has been diagnosed with high blood pressure. Do they have the same disease? In Western medicine, they both have high blood pressure. That's the disease. You have a 24-year-old black male college athlete and a 72-year-old obese female. They don't have the same disease. The symptom of their disease, their organ pathology, is elevated blood pressure, is high blood pressure. You see what I'm saying? They don't have the same disease. They wouldn't have the same treatment. In Western medicine, they would both be given probably the same medication, some little pill to treat high blood pressure, to lower their blood pressure. But their disease is not the same. Their organ pathology is not the same, not in Chinese medicine, right? As a matter of fact, just a brief version, the 72-year-old obese woman with high blood pressure is probably going to have more of a disharmony between the 72-year-old morbid obese female, most likely, depending upon whether the presenting symptoms there are, but primarily is going to have some type of disharmony, a pathology that is primarily expressed as a disharmony between the earth and the water element, or the spleen and the kidneys. That's going to be primary in a 72-year-old obese female. In the 24-year-old black male college athlete, it's going to be these two here. It's going to be liver and heart are going to be the primary. I would say liver. I would say more liver, spleen, and heart in that order. Liver, spleen, and heart is going to be the cause of elevated blood pressure. A disharmony between liver, spleen, and heart, or the earth, the wood, the earth, and the fire element. Another way you can put this is that would be a disharmony between the grandmother, the mother, and the son. But in this order, the grandmother, the son, and the mother, creating elevated blood pressure. You feel me? So just to answer your question, yes, we take into account what your Western diagnosis is, but that's not the diagnosis that you're going to get from me. You know, it's going to give you a much clearer picture about the origin of this diagnosis that you've received from your Western practitioner. Okay. All right. Now back to what I was saying. So I was just saying, I'm doing a sale on my Etsy store for the whole month of February. And so I was showing this to people the other day, encouraging them to go to my Etsy store. So this is obviously an African medallion with a hand-pieced collage of all the heroes, and heroines on the African continent. So these are all actual African heroes and heroines, but I've done this one with just all Black women, right, from everywhere. I've done this with like all Black queens, all Black goddesses, right? So I've never made the same piece twice, by the way. I've never made the same piece twice. In all the years, my Etsy store has been online since 2008. I've never made the same piece twice. Nobody that has ever ordered, especially the medallions, but even the bracelets, I've never made the same bracelet twice. Even if you order a bracelet that's like I just started doing these Black female writers bracelets, everyone is always different. Even if they have the same authors, I will use different pictures or switch up the pictures or whatever. But I never have, in all my years, and I've sold hundreds of those bracelets, I've never made the same bracelet twice. Never made the same medallion twice. So everything that you get that is either a bracelet or the medallions is unique. That's not going to be the case, obviously, for like the earrings and that kind of stuff. So those of you who are tuning in via IG. So this is an African medallion that I made. And when I say it's a hand-pieced collage, I mean all of those pictures I edited, I printed them out, and then I cut them out with teeny scissors, and then took tweezers and hand-pieced every last one, even the teeny tiny pictures on this African medallion. And then you can see by the shine on it that it is covered, it's topped in resin. So I don't know if yeah, so when I flip it like that, I think you can see the shine on it. Yep, you can see that it's coated with resin. Okay. I just had a woman send me back her bracelet in the mail so that I could repair it for her, because the little cord that I use to make it, the little stretchy cord, popped. And so I was like, well, send me a picture, and I will, repair it for you. And you just ship it to me, and I'll repair it for you. So I'm thinking, it's relatively recent, maybe a year or two. Child, this bracelet that this woman sent me, she bought from me in 2014. She was a classmate from the school that I went to, East West College of Natural Medicine. And I started making bracelets with the founders of traditional Chinese medicine. So it had all these old images, illustrations, if you will, drawings of all of the people who were considered the founders of traditional Chinese medicine. And I was selling them to my classmates. She bought this bracelet for me in 2014. And the pictures were all still in perfect condition. I have bracelets that I made myself when I first started making them from like 2008. The pictures are fine. I've had to replace the little stretchy cord 1 or 2 times, but they last forever. They last for a long time. So anyway, she sent me the bracelet back. I sent it back to her, but that made that shit 11 years ago, right? Anyway, damn. Okay. So some ideas that I have had, and y'all can give me some feedback on them. Oh, so let me just go say. So if you want to help with the donations, if you want to get a reading, if you want to do any of that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all the 411 again now before I move on to the next thing. Okay. So EvoEmeTemp. That's Evolutionary Emergence Temp. EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. That is how you can email me. That is also how you can make a donation via Zelle. If you're going to make a donation via Zelle, then you do it through that email, EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. If you are going to make a donation via Cashapp, that is $@DaughterOfTheFates. I can't talk and do it at the same time. That is $@DaughterOfTheFates. That's FATES. If you're going to do Venmo, it's my name, Cassandra, CASSANDRA -Floyd, FLOYD. If you're going to do PayPal, it is @Iapo Ngina, IYAPO Okay, so those are the ways that you can donate. If you are interested in a reading, just email me and I will email you the details and the types of services that I offer. And then, yeah, I think that's everything. Okay. Now, some of the ideas that I had, because I got to make a miracle happen. That's literally what I got to pull off. I'm certain that it can happen, but I still have to be very proactive in how that's going to happen. Okay. So one thing that I was thinking about doing that could happen online, and obviously you don't have to be present to win because you online. I was thinking about doing a raffle, right? And using my services to raffle. So I was thinking about doing a raffle for one 60-minute reading, one 30-minute reading, and one 60-minute 5 elements wellness consultation with the write-up. And then I was also thinking about, so those are the main 3 things that I want to use as a raffle. Also, I'm also delayed today, nearly there though. I'm 20 minutes behind now. Okay. All right. Let's see. Apparently, I guess that's apparently the thing for a couple of people is like the lag. I'm just seeing some of y'all. I'm just seeing some of y'all comments. Y'all be up in here wilding. Oh my God. Um, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, child, that Mavery. I was trying to let her be up in here, but she was straight tripping. Child, I ain't got time for that mess. Anyway, so that's what I was thinking. What y'all think about that? I was thinking about like initiating a raffle that so it's 11 now. Damn, it's 11. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so it's 11 now. So I was thinking about initiating a raffle for those three things: one 60-minute reading, one 30-minute reading, and one 60-minute wellness consultation. And I was thinking like $10 for the raffle. What y'all think? $10, $20? I mean, the 30-minute reading is $90 regularly, right? And then the 60-minute reading is $153. And then the 5 elements wellness consult with the write-up is $180. So I'm thinking $20. I think $20 is fair. Maybe $10 for the 30-minute reading and $20 for the two 60-minute readings, the Divination and the 5 elements wellness consult. Let's see. 2 hours in, I'm not going to make it. What do you mean, Aaron? Who is us? I don't know what you mean, QB. What you mean, QB? What you mean, QB? We can catch up on. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean, baby. I don't know what you mean. Okay, but what I will say, let's see, but I'll watch from now and rewatch the beginning later. Okay. Okay, so listen. So this is what I'm thinking. And if I think it's a great idea. That's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this live is the announcement of the raffle. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm going to say, and then if it are you doing all the raffles at one time or daily? So what I think I'm going to do right now, since I'm working this out in real time, is all 3 of them now. And I will do I think I might do multiple raffles. That's what I'm gonna do. So a 60-minute reading, a 30-minute reading, and the 60-minute wellness consult. So what I'm going to have you guys do to make this for me as simple as possible. So we're going to say the raffle for the reading, the 60-minute reading is 20. The raffle for the 30-minute reading is 10. And the raffle for the wellness consult is 20. All right. So if you decide that you want to participate in the raffle, what I will do is I'm announcing it now, and I'll announce it several times again tomorrow. Right. And so let's see, we'll go ahead and say what time. And what I'm going to do is not only you guys starting now, but there are, like I said at the beginning, there are, I think, like 4 people that made donations within the last 24 hours. I'm going to throw them in the pot too. They don't know it, but I'm going to throw them in the pot too. And then $20 for the 5 elements theory wellness consultation. The 5 elements theory wellness consultation. So the 60-minute divination is usually $153. The 30-minute divination is usually $90. And then the 60-minute wellness consultation with the write-up is usually $180. All 3 of those are the 2 1-hour ones is 60, right? And then the 30-minute one is 10. Okay. So again, if you, and what I want you to do, okay, is when you pay for your raffle ticket, let's see. That's yeah. Or you can do $50 for all 3. Thank you, QB. Thank you, QB. So what I want you to do though is when you pay for your raffle ticket, specify what you are raffling for. If you're going to do if you're paying $20 for the 60-minute, put 60, put tarot. If you put $20, I'll already know it's a 60-minute tarot. So if you put in the raffle tarot when you pay the $20, feel me? Or put $10, obviously tarot, right? And then if you put another $20 and you just want the consult, if you want your raffle to be only for the consult, then put $20 and then just put consult, tarot or consult. Those are for the 220, so I can keep them distinguished. So tarot or consult. Or 5 elements. Do that. 5 elements. So put 5E, put 5E or consult, either one. 5E or consult or tarot for the $20 raffle tickets, okay? Or $50 for all 3, or $10 for the 30-minute reading. So that starts now. Again, you can do Cashapp, which is $DaughterOfTheFates. Let me just type this out really quick. At least for those of you who are in on the YouTube channel. Okay, so Zelle is the email for the temple. That's EvoEmeTemp at gmail.com. Let's see, that's Cashapp, which is $ Daughter of the Fates. That is Venmo is my name, Cassandra-Floyd. And PayPal, which is my least preferred, by the way, is at EvoEmeTemp. Okay, so those are the ways that you can purchase your after this live is done, I'll do a post on the community part of my YouTube channel for that too. Okay, so that is you can also do a live that is only tarot readings and do like a 3-card pull for $20. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a great idea, Tajali. Thank you. Okay. So yes, I will post this on the comments. I'll also post this in the Facebook groups, the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence Facebook group, the Great Cosmic Mother Facebook group, and what's our third one? Oh, the Pluto Returns Facebook group. Okay, so those 3 Facebook groups, I'll post this in there. I will do the poll for tonight, this first launching, because I'll do it several times, I think. So I'll do the first poll. Let's see. We'll do the first poll, and I'll write everybody's name down that'll go into that poll. So let's do a poll at noon Pacific Standard Time, and then again at 5 Pacific Standard Time, and then again at 9 Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. Okay. So I'll do those polls at noon, 5, and 9. And then depending, and I'll just do that for tomorrow. Depending upon how this little project goes, I might do it through the end of the week, right? Because I will need it if it works. So we'll do this through the end of the week, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow because I got to give them something tomorrow, hopefully just to keep them off my back for a few days. Okay. So that's going to be that, which I think is a great idea. And then the other thing that I will call on you guys to do, okay, everybody that's tuning in live, all right, now y'all gonna be my helpers. Once I post this, the raffle on the community portion of my YouTube page, right, where I do posts, share it with people, please. Yeah, share it. Tag people in it, share it on your social media. Like if you have, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. So share the raffle and share the times. I'll put all the details in the comment. In the community section. So after we get off this live, wait about 20 minutes and check your community post on my Daughter of the Fates page for the details. Or email me if you want the details, and that way you can just copy and paste it in your social media. And then from here, share it, please. Share it far and wide with as many people as you can. You feel me? And then, yes. Also, I have been thinking about taking pictures of my my African astrology cards and posting them on my Etsy page for purchase. So I'm going to do that. I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to do that. And so they'll be in the form of, because on Etsy, I'd never tried it before, but I was telling you guys, I bought a lot. I didn't even know you could do it. I have bought in the last 3 months a lot of PDFs off Etsy. Right. So like they have all kinds of cute little PEFs. People do all kinds of cute little charts and, pictures and, and shit like that. And they sell, the PDFs for, $1 or $2 or $3 for whatever the PDF is. So I was thinking about doing that for my African astrology cards, the ones that I've been telling y'all about, the hand drawn like astrology cards, so that you can see in real time the correlation between the planets and the Orisha that they are, not only the planets, the sign, the house, and the planet, and the Orisha that corresponds with it. So since that's mostly all we talk about, so I'm gonna post that on my Etsy page too. And then later on, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Oh, yeah, you need that one? Okay, so I'll do that. I'll get on that. I've been thinking about this for a long time, but now that I'm in an urgent situation, I was thinking about it all day today. So you guys know that I have like several sacred animals, right, that have given themselves to me, right? Like I have the owl, I have two actually red-tailed hawks, and then I have like the talons and the wings for these animals that I processed myself, right? And so I have been thinking about making jewelry. Gives a bridge between my astro obsession and my EFI friends. That's what's up. Okay, I'll get right on it then. All right, that's what's up. But I've been basically like my wings and my tail feathers and my talons, I've pretty much just kept. I've used them like on my altars. They're not up there right now. I told you one of my tail feathers and my horse tail whisk got taken by some wild animals when I went to do that ceremony out in the desert, but I still have the wings, right? And so I have been thinking about plucking some of the feathers from the wings of these very sacred birds, these very important birds to me. I haven't given anything away from my birds, but I have been thinking about making like one of a kind jewelry from a few of the feathers of these birds. And I also have the talons. I still have the talons for both of the birds. One of the talons you guys have seen me wear on a necklace that has the big piece of turquoise on it. It's one of the hawk talons with that's bound in leather and copper, and it has the big piece of turquoise on it. And so I'm thinking about auctioning pieces that come from my ceremonial birds. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. And there were some other ideas that I had, but those were the big ones, was the auction and the raffle. Yeah. And then the African astrology cards as a PDF on my Etsy page. So that I will, it's late, but I'll try to do that either tonight or first thing in the morning before I get busy. So as of now, I only have one reading scheduled for tomorrow. So if you want to get a reading tomorrow, let me know as soon as you can so I can go ahead and create your Zoom link and send that to you, because I would like to book out my day tomorrow with readings. So just let me know. I know y'all are gonna hold out for these for this raffle. So if you are holding out for the raffle, then go ahead and purchase your raffle tickets. When you pay on whatever medium you decide to pay on, as the note that you can leave, just put whether it's tarot, whether it's consult, and you don't have to leave one for the 30-minute. Well, actually leave one for the 30 minutes too. So I know it's not just a donation that you're actually putting in for the raffle. So even if you make the $10 donation for the 30-minute tarot reading, put tarot. If you do the 10-minute or the 20 or the 60-minute, if you do the 30-minute or the 60-minute, put tarot under there so I know exactly what it is. And then if you do the consult, same thing, put consult in the notes in whatever medium it is you use to pay for the raffle ticket. Okay. If you do all three, are you doing the raffle tonight? Yes. Right now. As of right now, the raffle is on. The pull that I will do, the first pull that I will do is tomorrow at noon. Those of you whose names do not get pulled at noon automatically cycle into the next spot, which is at 5 o'clock. I will do another pull at 5 o'clock. Okay. Those of you who do not win in the 5 o'clock pull, your names will go right away into the next pull that will be at 9 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. So if you don't win the first time, just like a regular raffle, if you don't win the first time or the second time, your names cycle through each time. Okay. So I'll do a pull tomorrow at noon. I'll do a pull tomorrow at 5. I'll do a pull tomorrow at 9. And what I think I might do is just like short little lives to announce the pull. Maybe that'll garner some excitement about the thing. So instead of just like, announcing it via email or whatever, that's another thing. If I don't have your email and you pay for a raffle ticket tonight, make sure to shoot me an email. I know it's tedious, but make sure to shoot me an email letting me know that you bought a ticket. I will know because it'll come through as an alert with those different apps. But I want to be able to email you to get in touch with you, okay, in case you miss your name. All right. So yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do live announcements. I'm going to do live announcements tomorrow at noon, at 5, and at 9. I'm going to do an actual live at 9, but the announcement will be the first thing that I announce before we go into whatever the discussion for tomorrow night is going to be. So I will be doing a live right here on YouTube and on IG, live announcements at noon, 5, and 9 tomorrow to announce who the raffle winners are for the 60-minute reading, the 30-minute reading, and the 60-minute consult. Okay. And then depending upon how good that goes, I will do it the rest of the week. It might be something I do ongoing. I think it's a cool idea. And what I also might do, if people are willing, so I have several people that I've read more than once. So I might see if I can do like a little like bring guests on to a live to have people like, talk live about their experience having gotten readings from me. You know what I'm saying? Because even people's feedback, I follow up with you guys, by the way. I follow up. If I give homework, which I do, every reading comes with homework. Every reading comes with an assignment. Okay. So with every reading, I give homework and I follow up. How did that work for you? Was it useful? Did you do the homework? You know what I'm saying? So I think people really appreciate that. It makes them actively engaged in the process of divination, which it should, right? All right. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I bought a ticket. Let's see. Okay, Nura Allah, I got you. I'm going to put you on the list right now. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, by the way. Nura Allah for the tarot. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Okay, let's see. Also, let's see. Yes, okay, cool. Yeah. All right, cool. So you can literally purchase your raffle tickets all the way through till 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Okay, Vass, thank you so much. Vass got one for the 5E reading. Vass, when you email me, make sure that I know that you're Vass on YouTube, because I don't know what, the crossover between what you show up as on YouTube, and I might have your email address. I might know who you are, but email me anyway. That way I definitely have your email address and I know that you are Vass on YouTube. Okay. Good night, Nura Allah. All right. So Vass got one for the 5E reading. Great. Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Okay. So like I said, you can, for this first round of pulls, which will be 3 times tomorrow, you can go ahead and purchase your raffle ticket from now all the way through till 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Okay. And then again, share with people, share with people, share on your social media, share on your YouTube channels as a comment. As a post on your YouTube channel, and tag people. Thank you so much. I think that's going to be it for me tonight. I still have so much to do tonight. I have so much to do, and y'all know me. I could talk forever, so I don't want to do that tonight. I do want to reiterate, visit my Etsy store, share my Etsy store. I got dope shit, and it is Black History Month, and people need dope shit for Black History Month, especially since, let me tell you, I'm going to tell y'all, I went to Target today. I know all of y'all are boycotting Target, and I completely agree with you, but there were things that I needed. I was in a rush, and I had to go to Target. The one thing I can say, though, that because I haven't been to Target in a long time, I have been like actively avoiding it for long before y'all called for a boycott. But one thing that I always looked forward to at Target, it never missed, was Black History Month. They always had a dope ass, big, elaborate like setup for Black History Month. That shirt that y'all love so much, the army green one that has the big beautiful Black woman with the gold like halo around her head, and it says, "We are the future. We are the future. We are the future," with the Black woman. I got that at Target during Black History Month one year. Like, they've always had just a dope ass Black history, whole section set up. Child, not this year. It was like all these corporations were just looking for the opportunity to shit on black people. I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, yeah, money is money. Money is green. They gonna still have the black history, little, because it's usually right as you walk in the door, where it would be like this big old, decorative setup with all black like writers, like books for kids, and books, like they would always put like Octavia Butler's books on the display, and dope ass clothes, all by black designers. Like I always look forward to Target on Black History Month because the display was always just dope, just freaking fire, just fire. And baby, not this year. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but the two Targets that I went to, one today and then one last week, not a hint of a Black History Month display. I was like, damn. I was like, okay, well, that's it. Today is the last day. Today was pressing. I had too much shit to do. I went up in there. I was like, okay, well, I guess this is the last day I'm shopping at Target. This is the last day. This is the last day I'm shopping at Target. I haven't been in there a while, but like, damn, that was like the last straw. I was like, they just like in your face with it. So that was it. I thought I would share that with y'all. They ain't got no Black History shit up in there this year by y'all, and they always had a fire ass display, man. Not this year. All right, well, fuck y'all too. So all of that to say, buy black. And I don't just say that to black people, by the way. If you say you progressive and you a white person, if you say you all of a sudden now give a damn about black life, you feel me? If you white, if you Mexican, if you Asian, if you other, and all of a sudden you appealing to black people, you like, we about that life too. Instead of blue bracelets and all that dumb ass shit, buy black. Put your money where your mouth is. Yep, put your money where your mouth is. Buy from black people those things that you need and those things that you want. I posted on my Facebook page and my IG page a woman who has a whole directory of black businesses that you can purchase from online for all your needs. Toilet paper companies that are black owned, food, canned vegetables that are grown by black farmers, you name it. The list, the gamut. And so go on my Facebook page and go on my IG, check out that link that she has. That's a directory to all black owned businesses. But yeah, anybody that says they about their life, I'm gonna need you to commit to buy black. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna need you to make a commitment to spend 10% of 10%, whatever your normal shopping budget is for the month, 10%, commit 10% of that to black owned businesses. 10% of whatever your monthly spending budget is, I'm gonna need you to make a commitment to spend 10% of your monthly spending budget for your needs at a black business. That's what I'm gonna need. And I mean that for everybody. Black, brown, red, yellow, and white. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. As a matter of fact, it might be a question on the questionnaire for entry for membership in the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Do you spend at least 10% of your monthly shopping budget with black-owned businesses? You understand what I'm saying? So, people, let me tell you one more thing. I appreciate y'all so much, because these long deep dives that I've been into, this is gonna be a record for the last 2 weeks. This 2 hours and 43 minutes is gonna be a record for the last 2 or 3 weeks, because I have been up on here, child. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Literally, we did a live that was 7.5 hours. And I appreciate you guys, because y'all have been very, very diligent. I appreciate it, because I say so much shit comes down on me while I'm in it. And I'll be like, damn, I don't know where I said that, where it was. And I just appreciate the fact that so many of you are taking time to post timestamps in the comments. So please continue to do that. I go back every timestamp you place. I promise you, I click on it and go listen to what you timestamp every time. Sometimes 2, 3, 4 times. Y'all send timestamps. I'm going back to where you posted the timestamp. So I really, really, really Oh, God. I really appreciate those timestamps. They are helpful beyond what you can imagine. Make sure to comment, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to share. If something hits you and you felt it valuable enough to timestamp it, share that with somebody else. Okay. Yes, I love the timestamps. There's no, let me just say this. You cannot send me enough timestamps. There's no such thing as too many. If you send, somebody did that. Somebody put like in one comment, like 12 timestamps. I went through every single timestamp. Sure did. Sure did. I love the timestamps. If you say that there's something about the live that you liked, timestamp it for me. What stood out? I go back to them. It's the easiest way for me to study what comes down in this process, what comes through in this process, what epiphany in the moment that I had that I need to make a mental note of, but couldn't in the moment, right? Y'all see me. I'm always like trying to like write and talk at the same time, but the timestamps are really, really helpful. And I'll be honest, the timestamps, when you guys send me the timestamp, especially Java Watson be on it. Java Watson be really, really on it with the timestamps. I love that. What you're doing, baby, is functioning as my scribe in real time. Sometimes I be thinking, you could never work my nerves, dear. You could never work my nerves. I keep telling y'all, I'm not exaggerating. I love the timestamps. I really do. It really makes my work easier because I go back and listen to these. I still go back and listen to the reading of the Great Cosmic Mother. I still go back and listen to the reading of Pure Lust. I still go back and listen to the reading of the Sibyls and the Great Black Mama of Creation. This is work. This is study for me. This is the plotting and scheming process. So no, dear, you could never get on my nerves. You could never send me enough timestamps ever from any video, no matter how old it is. I appreciate that shit. And I feel like, in a lot of ways, I feel like it's the weaving process that we've been talking about. Like this is the weaving process, at least in its infancy, until we can be up close and personal. You feel me? So I cannot say it enough. I cannot tell you enough. Timestamps. If there's something that you liked about the video, don't just say, I love the video. Timestamp what you like. Tell me what it is that stuck with you. Tell me what it is that resonated with you. Yeah, I need that. Okay. So tomorrow, what I think we're going to do, I really want to, in a much more organized fashion, I talk to you. Yes, for the algorithm. Thank you. Because y'all know that the algorithm is not my friend. It's not my friend. It's not my homie. It's not my ace. You feel me? And so you guys become the substitute for the algorithm. You guys take up, y'all take up the slack with this algorithm that is hostile to my virtual existence. Okay. So what I was saying is there was so tomorrow there was a live that I did maybe a live ago or 2 lives ago. I don't remember, but it was what did I name it? Did I name it women as culture creators? Did I name it that? Or maybe, I don't remember. Child, like I said, I did like 8, 9 lives last week, but I think it was women as culture creators. It was either the last live or the one before that I did. I really want to revisit that because we talked about so much. I think that live ended up being 4 hours and all of it was relevant, but I really want to be a lot more deliberate and concise about going back in history, going back in the past. And instead of, we'll just treat that video as the overview, instead of going back in an overview type way where I read part of the chapter entitled Women as Culture Creators in the Great Cosmic Mother, I want to go back, which I started doing today, and really highlight some instances that we can look back to as the evidence of women as culture creators, but also as the inspiration for what can be, the inspiration for what we can reproduce in our period. Do you understand? Because I think that there's a way that people look back to the past in this kind of dogmatic yet romantic way. They want to look back at the past, what our ancestors did in the past, and execute the past dogmatically, exactly the way that it was created or emerged in the past, superimpose that dogmatic reproduction of the thing, whether it's, a tradition or a culture or a ritual or whatever. They want to take it just how it was and then dogmatically reproduce it in the now, right? Instead of taking it, observing it, finding its usefulness, and reproducing it in a way that makes it functionally applicable to the circumstances with which we find ourselves right now. I think that maybe that's what I'm going to call it. I think that when we talk about the concept of Sankofa, when we look at the Sankofa bird, whose body is facing forward, right? Whose head is turned all the way back, looking at the past, and his mouth is open with an egg in its mouth. And we know, at least ideologically, that Sankofa means to look to one's past, to retrieve what is useful, to pave the way to the future. That's what the egg represents, is the future. The egg represents, just like it does with our sigil, with the cosmic egg, it represents all potentialities. That everything that is necessary for creation, everything that is necessary for the new, already exists within the egg. This is what the egg represents in the mouth of the Sankofa bird. And ideally, it's an easy concept to understand. Look to the past, right? That's why his head is facing backwards. Look to the past to retrieve what is useful to pave the way to the future. That's why his body's facing forward, right? And I think that the problem is, girl, Tajali, girl, can you say it for the people in the back? God, just like that. Tajali says, like singing, "We shall overcome" 60 years later. If that ain't a word, okay? And so what I was saying, she beat me to the punch, is that while ideally, this is something that should be easy to understand, what the application of Sankofa has, what it has yielded for quite some time, is not Sankofa. What people have internalized as Sankofa, the way that it has been applied for quite some time, is just what I said. The dogmatic taking from the past some tradition, some culture, some idea, some event, some something, and rigidly and dogmatically and undialectically superimposing it in the present, unchanged, unadaptable, unmalleable, just superimposing it on the present, and can't figure out why this concept doesn't work, doesn't yield anything, doesn't yield any fruit, doesn't yield anything. Like the sister said, like singing, "We shall fucking overcome" 60 years later, right? And when I was thinking about this live that I was going to do, Women as Culture Creators, and the demystifying, let me write that down, the demystifying, the unveiling yes, the demystifying, the unveiling of the mountainous contributions of women around the world throughout human history that have been deliberately, purposefully wiped away from the collective memory, disappeared from the collective consciousness. Because there is an objective in the disappearing of women's contributions to human history. There is a deliberate and very strategic objective to the wiping away from the collective memory of human beings, the contributions of half the world's population for the last 6, 7, 8,000 years, right? And so when I was thinking about this idea, women as culture creators, and the first reference that I used was the chapter of the same name from Barbara Moore's book, The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. And she goes through the archaeological evidence of the archaeological and the anthropological evidence of the extraordinary contributions of what we would even call ancient women as far back as 25,000 years to quote sciences that have been reduced to quote arts and crafts that are still ever present in today's society, yet we don't know that the origin of these things that we have taken for granted are the inventions and the creations of not only women, quote, in isolation, women living within an egalitarian society of women to which males eagerly and enthusiastically participated, right? So, and again, when we're talking about, and even listening to the news that I was listening to today, like listening, I told you guys a couple of hours ago, I've been listening to a lot of economists today, and I try to bypass the Trump news because it's just, child, it's just ridiculous. It's like watching a bad play, right? But I was listening to a lot of economists today. I was listening particularly to this one woman who is doing like an economical breakdown of what is being identified as the birthing crisis globally, and what the different economists are saying are the contributing factors to why globally in every on every continent. She was listing statistics from every continent and then from the major countries in each one of those continents, and how their birthing patterns have changed since the 1970s. I think that's where the statistics started. And and when I tell you, no matter who she cited, no matter what economist, no matter what historian, no matter who she cited, everything was the issue but the issue. I've been looking for connection, community these past couple of years, stumbling upon your content through the Sybil. I am so grateful to the mother for this. Oh, Java Watson, girl, you family. You family. Okay. Okay. So all of that to say, in these discussions, I just want you to be clear, to be able to, in an instant, in a moment, see past the noise. I'm always using the metaphor of, because this is the period that we're in, so it's an always appropriate metaphor of the radical storms of change produced by our mother Oya, right? And these radical storms of change that are necessary to move out all of the debris, all of the shit, all of the structures that cannot serve the future, right? Even within the midst of the storm, there is the eye that provides clarity. There is the stillness amidst the chaos that still provides the clarity. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm using this metaphor because that's what we're in right now. We're in a whirlwind. We're in a typhoon. We're in a tornado. We're in a hurricane. And are we going to get caught up in the winds of change, right? Are we going to get caught up in the chaos, or are we going to steady ourselves in the eye, in the center, where the clarity is amidst the chaos? That's what we need to be doing, because we're aware. Those who are caught up in the winds, they're not aware. They don't have the 411. You feel me? They cannot see clearly because they are caught up in the winds, and the winds aren't meant for them. They don't know that yet, though. The winds are not meant for us. The winds are meant for our enemies. The winds are not meant for us. They are meant for our enemies. The destruction is meant for our enemies. The destruction of our mother Oya and her husband Shango, aka Pluto and Shango. I mean Pluto and Aquarius, right? The storm that they are kicking up. What did I tell y'all a couple of days ago? That the lightning, those of you who are tuning in through IG, it's an hour again already. Damn, it didn't even seem like it. But they only let me broadcast live for 1 hour at a time. So as soon as this broadcast is up, which is in like 20 seconds, it'll go off, and then I'll rebring the live back up so we can do another hour. But I ain't gonna do another hour, I'm gonna tell you. All right. So, and I was on a roll too. Okay, I was up in there. All right. So let's see here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's all I was going to say, was that over this coming year, first of all, you guys know that I don't post for pleasure. I don't post for fun or quote, just FYI. Everything that I post is purposeful. Everything, everything, everything. And even if you don't know the purpose, trust that everything that I post on my social media or on, on my comment section, my community section of my YouTube channel is purposeful. And the reason I'm clarifying that is because this year I've been watching so many different astrologers' takes on the significance of this year above all others, those coming and those past. This year represents such an enormous opportunity for us. It does. But in this opportunity, those who that opportunity does not serve, those who that opportunity works against their interest, the opportunity being presented to us works against their interest, they are fighting like hell to maintain relevance in the world, to maintain their station in the world, to maintain their position on our necks in this world. And in doing that, they are fighting for their lives. And now they're butt naked. They ain't even trying to be subtle. They ain't even trying to be what you call it, incognito. You understand? Stealth. They are buck wilding. And their attempt to escape the inevitability of what is to come, what is already, right? Their attempt to escape the inevitability of what is, they are wilding. They are wilding. And that wilding is the shit we're getting caught up in. It's the winds we're getting caught up in. It's the noise that we're getting caught up in. It's the chaos that we're getting caught up in. And all my plea is to make sure that you recognize that the radical winds of change are not for you. That the lightning created or produced by Shango is to do what? What did I read to y'all the other night? It is to, in one strike of lightning, is to do two things simultaneously. It is to burn away confusion while creating absolute divine clarity. To burn away confusion while illuminating, while creating clarity. Do not get caught up in the winds that are not meant for you, child. Sit steady in the center. Sit steady in the center, in the eye of the storm, where clarity, even amidst the winds, resides, where epiphany resides. You understand? This is what's meant for us. So there's a reason I brought that up, because it's too easy. And you think it's noisy now. April, it's going, y'all think January was crazy. April is going to present an opportunity for those who are fighting for their existence to cut up, You feel me? And they can cut up, but that shit ain't for us. And so when I'm talking about the necessity of, I might need to revisit Pure Lust too, because she had so much to say that I think is relevant right now. I think it's relevant this year about the work of the fates. Right? About the work of the fates. What is the work of the fates? This is why a discussion on women as culture creators is important, to be able, that's how I got on the Sankofa thing, is to be able to look back at what we as women have accomplished, have contributed to humanity that was stolen, that was where our fingerprint on it was erased, and our son superimposed his fingerprint. So we all believe that he was the inventor, he was the creator, he was the potter, he was the keeper of fire. Ooh, isn't that something? This is why the mythology becomes significant, because the true story is hidden in the mythological adaptations, right? The truth of the story is hidden within the mythology. And so here we're talking about women as culture creators and what must be done. Women as culture creators and what we must do. Women as culture creators and the work of the fates. What is the divine work of the fates? And in Pure Lust, what does Mary say the work of the fates is? Is to name and rename everything. That's not the only thing that she says. The work of the fates is to redefine time. That's what she says. Is to redefine time. It is to look back at what we accomplished and demystify it all. Pull the veil back on it all. Because two things will happen. Multiple things will happen, but two main things will happen when that is done. Is it will reveal the fallacy of this authority that has placed itself on top of us, above us, right? That it has not produced anything. It has not created anything. That the only thing that it can create is war. The only thing that it can produce is bloodshed. The only thing that it can do is massacre. That's it. Whether it's economic massacre, whether it's physical massacre, whether it's emotional, whether it's spiritual, all it can do is massacre. And in order to do that, in order to give itself some sense, some air of divinity, some air of omnipresent, omnipotent power of all, it had nothing to stand on its own. So what did it do? It had to steal every story. It had to steal every ceremony, every symbol, every word, and wipe the mother's identity from it, and then take those identities and place it upon itself. So just like we were reading the other day in preparation for the year of the snake, the Chinese New Year, that all this time the Jesus fish had been associated with Jesus and Christianity. Meanwhile, it's always been a symbol of the mother. We had always associated the serpent with a great big bad guy he, right? With a bad guy he, right? And the serpent has always been the mother. Has always been the mother, right? What do we say? What else? Just shit falling in our laps. All the symbols, all the divine symbols. We had learned here that the Ankh was what? It was eternal life as represented by what?
these are the fallopian tubes, and this is the uterus, right? And then this is the male principle. And together they mean eternal life, right? Wrong. Theft of the mother's imagery. Eternal life. The fallopian tubes, the uterus, and the birth canal, called the great serpent of the Nile. She that gives life to all. Huh? This is the she. This is the divine she. This is the divine she. So everywhere we turn, everywhere we look, there is no place that we look where they have not co-opted the power of the mother to superimpose it on a war god. Isn't that something? On the face of a death cult, on the deity, the sun deity of a war god, of a warhead. Isn't that something? Of a warhead. Shit. Because, listen, we call it warhead, right? Isn't that what they call it? A warhead? Isn't that what they call it in military terms? A warhead? Like a missile, they call it a warhead? Is that what they call it? Am I tripping? I think, let's see, we are watching Toto pull back the curtain in real time, baby. Yes, we are. But don't they call it a warhead? Like a nuclear weapon, don't they call it a warhead? Am I imagining that? I'm not being funny. Am I imagining that? Yeah, they call it a nuclear warhead. That's what I thought. Isn't it interesting? Child epiphany in real time. Isn't it interesting that they call it a warhead? Why do they call it a warhead? Could it be an alluding to the Godhead? Could it be them in real time? Because I tell y'all, they hide everything in plain sight. Could it be an alluding to the Godhead? Who is the Godhead? The war god. Is it my imagination? Did they do that on purpose? Call a nuclear warhead the epitome, the apex point of their ability to destroy in the form of a nuclear weapon that they just happen to call a warhead? That is the primary phallic representation of the war god or the godhead of war? I don't know. I might be tripping. I don't think it's a stretch, though. I don't think it's a stretch, though. I love how these epiphanies be coming down. That's what it is. Why they call it a nuclear warhead? Didn't Mary Daly talk in Pure Lust about Oppenheimer creating the first the first atomic bomb? Didn't she talk about that the same week? Because we was all tripping out the same week that Oppenheimer came out at the movies. We happened to be in the section of the chapter that she is talking about Oppenheimer in 1983, the same week. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? That happened, y'all remember? That happened with The Color Purple. Remember? The Color Purple came out, and 2 days later, we are reading when it came out on Christmas Day, The Color Purple, the remake. And we are reading in this book in 1983 about the release of the book, The Color Purple, that she was writing about in Pure Lust. And we were like, how the fuck did this bitch keep doing this shit? How she knew we was going to be reading this section of this book at this time in the future, the week the goddamn movie came out. That shit happened twice while we were reading that book. That shit happened twice. And in the book, and in the section where she's talking about Oppenheimer in the book, she says that if they are obsessed with phallic symbols, then wouldn't a nuclear warhead be the apex expression of their phallic ability to destroy? Because she was the one I think it was her. No, it was Barbara Moore in The Great Cosmic Mother, talking about how because patriarchy has done to men's brains and spirits and consciousness what it has done, men always, whether consciously or not, see sex as war. That's why they become disinterested as soon as you, quote, throw up the white flag and concede to give them some pussy. As soon as they see you now as the defeated, that they have, quote, once they get in your draws, they see that this, even the things that they have to do to get your attention, right? This is strategy in their mind to do what? To get to the goods, to get to the booty, right? And that once they in this strategic dance that they have to do to dominate, to surmount, to emerge victorious, once you have, quote, given in to their strategy, right? And you have given them some booty, and all of a sudden their whole energy changed. It is because they see women, they see others as the conquered. They see them as they don't see them as an equal opponent, right? There's a respect in war that happens between, quote, equal opponents. But once one side concedes or yields or surrenders, the respect is gone. Now you are just viewed as the conquered. That's what she said in The Great Cosmic Mother. That's what she said in The Great Cosmic Mother. That inherently men still see sex as warfare. They still see it as war. They still see it as war between the victor and the conquered. Let's see what y'all talking about over here. Let's see. The Christian God is the only God in history that weaponized and taught humans how to wage war on one another. I heard someone say something along those lines yesterday. I'm quite sure it's true. Oh, he ain't the only one. Well, I guess the God that Christians worship, that also, Muslims and practicing Jews worship, because Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah, you understand? They all the same God. So, but yes, Aaron, yes. But anyway, so for us, fates, for us, weavers, for us, architects of the future, midwives of the new age, right? For us, and I'm not just talking about people born with uteruses. This for all of us. This is a net I'm casting everywhere. I'm saying at the helm will be those who was born with uteruses, and more particularly those people of color who were born with uteruses, and even more specifically, black ass, the blackest among us, females, right? People born with uteruses are going to be at the helm. Are going to have to be at the helm. Are going to have to be at the helm. Not only at the helm, in the center. In the center. Let me correct that. In the center. In the center. Leading from within. Guiding from within the center. Mm-hmm. Guiding from within the center. Leading from within the center. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it'll be this is an interesting journey that we are on, because everything, every day is telling us the same thing. And everything becomes the issue, but the issue. Because what must be faced, don't nobody want to face, baby. As easy as it is, as simple as it is, what we have to face, don't nobody want to face. Don't nobody want to concede. Don't nobody, anything but that. Look, anything but that. Just tell us anything but that. Anything but that. That's what everybody's saying, y'all. Anything but that. Anything but that. Anything but that. You know what the anything but that is? Us in the center. Us in the center. Who is the us? uterus carrying, portal carrying, jet black ass women. Us in the center. And all of you radiate from without. You understand? Don't nobody want to hear that. So everybody want to be progressive without that. Everybody want to do astrological analyses of the things to come and the potential of things to come without that. That's what was revealed to me today. Everybody want to talk in circles about all the fucking things and all the fucking ways without that. And it can't happen. We're at the center of everything. Every issue, every conflict, we're in the center. We're at the center of everything. I'm trying to give you a word right now. We're in the center. We're at the center. The solution is in the center. The resolution is in the center. It's in the center. It's with us. I guarantee it. I'm confident, because it's the thing you all avoid. It's the thing you all avoid. That thing, the simple thing you all avoid. You can talk about white power all day long. You can talk about white male patriarchy all day long and never talk about its resolution. Never talk about its opposition, its solution. Isn't that fascinating? You can make the solution everything but what it is. Anything but that. You mean center black women? Listen to black women. Let black women lead from within. Let black women lead from a place of comfort and adoration. What? Oh, anything but that. There's got to be another way around this shit. That? Listen to black women. Not that. Can't we solve these problems some other way? Can't we save the whales some other way? Nope. Can't we heal the hole in the ozone layer? The ozone layer some other way? Nope. Climate crisis, can we address this shit some other way? Absolutely not. Amazon torn to shreds, can we do it some other way? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Homelessness, starvation, poverty, can we do it some other way? It's got to be that way. It's the only 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 way. Center black women who surrounded by, and I'm talking about black and black-skinned women, black-skinned women. They're black-skinned women trying to fight the power in the Amazon. You understand what I'm saying? They're black-skinned women who are being oppressed in southern India. You feel me? They're black-skinned women. They may not identify as African. That's okay. They black-skinned, and their proximity to Africanness is what has them oppressed. So yes, black ass African descended women in the center, and out from them, black skinned ass women, indigenous women, the globe the fuck over, and out from them, the darker to the lighter, to the lighter, to the lighter, to the masculine, all the way out. Yes, us in the center. Yes. To solve every problem radically in every direction, in every dimension, in every fucking time period, past, present, and future, center us. To undo the sun gone rogue. To undo not only what he is planning now and for the future, everything that he has done in the past will be unraveled. I don't have no problem with it. I don't have no problem accepting that as fact. Quantum physics tells us that shit. What is it? String theory teaches us that. You understand? Quantum entanglement teaches us that this is real potentiality that we're looking at. This is real potentiality that we're looking at. And everything that would solve most of our problems radically and immediately is the one thing y'all want to avoid like the plague. It's the one thing y'all want to avoid like the plague. And you're going to either have to face it or get caught up in the winds of change, child. Get torn apart in the winds of change. That's it. Them the options. And And I don't know why you try to avoid it like the plague. Ain't nobody on earth, regardless of how much harm has been done to them, has shown more love to every and anybody than Black women. It don't matter how many times we've been stepped on, spit on, looked at, we were vile, told we ugly, told we everybody hate us, don't nobody want us, don't nobody want to date us, don't nobody want to make no babies with us, how ugly we is, how big our nose is, how nappy our hair is, how loud we is, all the venom and all the vile everywhere the fuck on earth, and we still today show more love to the many without asking anything in return than anyone else. Taking everybody babies. I got registered as a foster parent to foster my daughter's best friend, her little white best friend, because her mama and her grandmama had threw her away, abandoned her at the mall, left her there, and never came back to get her. I became a foster mother to foster one white child. One of 3 children whose white mamas threw them away, changed the locks on them at 12, baby sleeping in the fucking park in one of them goddamn barrels, hiding in the barrel. For 3 days, a 12-year-old baby was sleeping in a goddamn barrel in the park. That baby stayed at my house for 3 months before her mama even called her. You feel me? Don't nobody show the kind of fucking, what y'all call unconditional love. Ain't nobody ever showed that shit to y'all but Black women. Everywhere the fuck on the globe, despite the harm, despite the hatred, despite the threats on our lives. Why y'all got a problem with the idea that the world can be healed and transformed by placing the mother's representatives in the bodies of Black women in the center for a change, but now loved, now supported, now defended. It's whatever the fuck the mother says. And right now the mother says, center Black women and see what happens. Center women of color and see what happens. Center, I'm talking about a spiral. Center the female principal. Center others who have been marginalized and oppressed and beat the fuck down by this bullshit, and see what happens and see how radically it will unfold. See how radically and how rapidly it will reverse. It will undo the doings of the son gone rogue. I don't know why y'all got a problem with that. I ain't the only one. I've known too many in my lifetime, too many Black women who have taken in other people's children without ratting them out to the state, cared for them until they could get back on their feet, be mothers to somebody else's children, be aunties to whole communities, fight tooth and nail to rescue this brother or that brother or this brother or that brother out of prison until it's done, defend the loss of life by the state to be completely disappeared as the victims of also the state. We done demonstrated in 1,000,001 ways our willingness to overlook, to forgive the harm that's been caused to us, to show up as the great humanitarians of earth, to have you all hand us your fucking ass to kiss. Hand us your ass to kiss and then tell us how worthless we are, how valueless we are, how we are not at all included in what is the demonstrations of femininity. While you all globally swing off the titties of Black women, leech off the life force of Black women, suck the happiness out of Black women to possess it as your own. So the simplest thing will be the hardest thing. I'm just telling y'all better get ready. The simplest thing, the thing that I am convinced today and have been since y'all sat me down in 2018 and told me, bitch, I'm the Antichrist. I'm the savior of the world. If you want to make this shit pop, rescue these fucking witches out these goddamn churches. From that day to this, I am certain you can't sway me. You can't convince me otherwise. We, are the saviors of the world. And that shit is not going to happen by some sweat and some burdensome labor on our part, because we did that shit. We did that shit. No, it's going to be centering us. It is going to be centering our ecstasy. It's going to be centering our leisure. It is going to be centering our pleasure and our ability to execute genius that has been stifled. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be you supporting and uplifting the fucking emergence of our genius so we can radically set this shit off, so we can make this shit pop. It is going to be you, men, circling around us and defending our lives the way you would your own mama, because we are her. The way you would defend your mama is the way that you say, look, we done did all this shit that we done supposed to do. We done joined the military. We done been obedient. We done obeyed the law, and it ain't got us a motherfucking thing. We gonna take that same energy, that same smoke, that same fire, that same power, and now we are centering it. We are centering the mother in that power, in that fire, in that energy. Whatever the fuck my mama say, whatever the fuck her daughters say, that's what we doing now. If you ain't on that, then you want some other shit that we got time for. That same energy, that same fire, that same smoke you got for your hood, you got for your quote gang, you got for the military, you got for the police, you got on some bullshit, you got for your church. Bring that energy, that fire, that smoke, that willingness to defend with your fucking life. Defend the future by covering the mothers, by defending the mothers, by obeying the mother's will as spoken through them, by saying, I cast my fate with the future. I cast my fate with the future. I'm ready. I got the training. I got the arms. I got the machetes. I got the bats. I got what you need. Yeah, what you need. Tell me what it is my mother's will for me is today. That's the energy you need to come with. Tell me what it is my mother's will is for me today. And know that you will be blessed as a consequence. You ain't been blessed by patriarchy, bitch. You ain't been blessed by patriarchy. You have not been blessed by the church. You have not been blessed by the government. You have not been blessed even in your loyalty to the state. All these years, black, brown, red, yellow men fighting to preserve this fucking bitch with their blood, fighting to preserve America with their blood, with their sweat, with their tears, in the height of disrespect, to come home fighting for Europe, fighting for Europeans, to come home and be attacked, to come home and be lynched for having the nerve to wear your white boss goddamn uniform at home with some sense of pride. And y'all still do that shit over and over and over again. The shit ain't changed, just the tactic. They don't hang you from a tree now. But how many stories have you heard just in the last 2 years of soldiers being killed by regular everyday white people, black ass soldiers being killed by regular everyday white people since 2020? The little Mexican girl killed on a military base and they hit it. The little black girl raped and killed by men in the military and they cover it up. Men, listen. The black young man that was just killed in Florida a few weeks ago in uniform, ex-military. You feel me? The shit ain't changed, whether it was the brothers coming home from World War II getting lynched, or whether it's this covert shit now, all these mysterious black and brown people dying who served in the military at the hands of regular everyday white people. Shit ain't changed. Just a strategy, just a tactic. Y'all keep giving y'all life to this to preserve this monstrous bitch. This monstrous bitch. And you cannot see something other than it. You can't see anything other than it. We can create something better. Here, right here in the continent of North America, aka Turtle Island. We can create something better. Because everything that you see we've created, but we've created through force. We've created through bloodshed. Somebody up on our neck, forcing us to create their dreams, forcing us to manifest their vision, their dreams, their hopes at our expense. We can create something better. That's the call. That's what we are being called to do in real time. So 1, We have to be sitting in the eye of the storm as the chaos unfolds around us, clear about what our mission is. I got to get new jewelry. This is irritating the fuck out of me. I'm not picking my nose. My goddamn nose jewelry is annoying the hell out of me. This is the mission, and and it's I get it. It's complicated. I think that the complication that we're experiencing will be less frustrating once we can get together. I did a 7-hour live talking to you guys last week about the overwhelming theme across all the astrology, Vedic, mundane, and the Chinese New Year, the year of the snake astrology. The one thing they all say across all those lines is that this year is about being in groups, organizing in groups, performing ceremony in groups, that the time of isolation, prayer in private, whatever your bag is, meditating in private, that is done for this year. This year, even if it is just groups of 3, like we got up on that mountain last week, it has a magnanimous impact because of what we've just shifted into. Because of the fact that all the outer planets are shifting in real time from earth and water to fire and air. Everything is going to pop fast. What did I tell you guys about this year? That coming out of the year of the dragon, which was last year, what did I say? The year of the dragon was about the time we needed to create foundational structures. Everything that we did was contributing to this structure that we were creating. That required an analytical, a strategic, a methodical, and a consistent process. Didn't I say that's what we spent all year doing last year? I say we because I was out in this bitch on a hope and a prayer and a shoestring budget, burying bitches in the desert, doing, retreats for couples, teaching people how to understand the 5 elements as the seasons transitioned, how to adjust yourself to move cyclically with the world since we had been taken out of a cyclical relationship with the earth. I did a lot of shit last year. This is the foundational structure. What does the year of the snake tell us to do? To now not be so analytical, not be so in our head. This is the yin, green, wood dragon calling on us to have the energy of the wood element, which is now that you have built the structure as the dragon, now you take all of this information that's here, move it into the heart. Now that you have your skeleton, which is all the work that we've done together over the last year, and intuitively trusting spirit, trusting heart, trusting your flesh to add on, to put the flesh on the structure that we have erected. And that the only way that we can do that is to do that together, is to do that collectively, is to do that in groups. That's what this year is about. That is what I am telling everybody, because every one of you that has gotten readings from me has said the same thing. I feel alone where I am. I feel like I'm the only person having these thoughts where I am. I cannot find my family. I cannot find my group. We have to create it. I'm telling you, even if it's starting with something as simple as, having a little get together with random people, you feel me? At your house, where y'all do a little potluck or a movie showing and talk about the movie. Get creative. You feel me? Put an ad in a paper. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Create a flyer that's mysterious. You only want to cast it to certain type of people and see who bites. You feel me? But we have to get creative. We cannot. I'm going to say this for the rest of the year because it is the thing that is consistent. This is the time, I say, for collective action, but this is a time for nation building. This is what it means. So even if it starts with 3 people, You and 2 others. This is where it starts. Do that first. Do the little piece first. This week, I'm gonna start pulling out feelers for 2 motherfuckers that I'm going to say, we are the start of a coven or whatever the fuck. We are the start of a coven. We are the start of this branch. We in North Carolina or we are in Virginia. This is gonna be our Virginia branch of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, even if it's just 3 of us. And start there. Start small so it's not daunting or overwhelming. That even if all we gonna do is get together once a month or twice a month when Sister Cassandra is doing the temple service, and we gonna sit in the house and drink wine and eat ice cream or whatever the fuck, a pizza, and watch the temple service together in one house. But this is the year for nation building. This is a year for intuitive creation. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. You feel me? So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you leave here fed. Thank you, Zahara Wilson. So I told you guys I am going to reiterate it because last month obviously was crazy with the fires. So it threw off a lot of the plan that I had, because I told you at the beginning of the year that I was going to be doing temple service twice a month and temple study twice a month. That ain't going to be the case. That is not going to be the case. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to do, like last Saturday was our temple service, okay? This past Saturday, which was the first. So we're going to do the first Saturday as temple service, which is just going to be like, I wasn't at location last week because the sister who's letting us use our space, she had some issues, some family issues. So, but it's going to be twice a month. It's going to be temple service on the first Saturday and temple study on the third Saturday. So we gonna get together like on some official shit where locally people can come at the space we're still using. That's gonna be twice a month. Temple service on the first Saturday, temple study, where I'm going to do the same thing that I have been doing. I give you ahead of time what we're going to be covering, what books you need to be, looking at. If you don't have the books, what videos are going to be covering what we're going to be talking about, and it's going to be a deep dive. So each person has to come into the temple study with a minimum of 1 and ideally 3 questions about the reading. This is a straight up like old school political education, right? And be prepared to ask your questions so that the group can discuss it, and then we move on. All right. So a week before the temple study, I will be sending out the material that we'll be covering in the coming temple study. All right. So that's because I was being idealistic without having still an official committee that can help, that I can have a division of labor with. Me doing four things a month for the temple. That was idealistic. That was idealistic. So the first, we'll do 1 temple service a month, 1 temple study a month. That's the first and third Saturday of the month. Okay. And I think that's, so let me tell you one more thing and then I'm gonna go. So last month, a friend of mine locally, the sister I'm always bigging up, Lily, who put me in the mural, A Better World is Possible. She invited me to, she does twice a month a painting brunch, because she's an artist, obviously. So she does a painting brunch, and this was my first time going, and it was like, it's cute. It's like a whole restaurant that she rents out, and so it's alcohols, it's bottomless mimosas, and brunch items. And then she gives you a little baby canvas and some paint, and you paint. And what she did for us, because the theme was healing the heart, right? And so she had sketched out her little Mexican heart, and then we had to paint the heart and she had healing herb stencils or healing flower stencils, and all of the herbs and the flowers are herbs that are good for the heart. Dope idea, right? So I went yesterday to this painting brunch, and I'm going to show y'all what I painted. And at first she was like,
Because, the whole thing is about healing the heart. And so she had all these stencils made with all these medicinal plants that we were supposed to paint our little Mexican heart and then take our plant of choice and like stencil it on top of the plant. And so this is what I did. It is still relevant because it's still a flower and it still has healing powers. It just wasn't one of the flowers that she had as a stencil. So this is what I did. What y'all think? This is the first painting I've done in so long. So many years. So many years. So I don't know if y'all see what I did here, right? But this is the Mexican heart, right? This is the little spiral that goes at our belly button, right? I'm always talking to y'all about the spiral in between our kidneys, right? I need to frame these. These are getting mangled. But so this is what we call the Ming Men fire, or the spiral that represents the Ming Men, and in like goddess worshiping traditions, it represents the portal that is the uterus. Okay, and then so I've got that, and then I've got all the chakra colors, right? I've got the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, right? Then I got the green down here. Then I got the yoni flower here. And then I had a mix of blue and purple for the upper chakras here. And then I got the little stars to make it synonymous not only with the upper chakras, but what did I tell you the upper chakras represent? They represent the heavenly chakras. So you've got the root chakras down here. And then you've got the heart as green right here, right? So it represents simultaneously the Ming Men between the kidneys, but this spiral also represents the heart, right? And then she as the, what do we say? She, this flower, as the two-sided gateway. The two-sided gateway. What do we say the two-sided gateway was? Right? The gateway that allows heaven to come to earth, and the gateway that allows the matter of earth to experience heaven. This is the two-sided gateway. Catching up again. Ivy's calling. Also just got an email where all the rural nurses are reaching out in solidarity to say they are scared and plan to exit the field. Interesting. Can you forward me that email? QB, can you forward me that email, please? But anyway, this is the first painting I've done in so many years. I was like, it was weird. I was actually, because it was just a fun little thing, but I was actually like nervous to do the first strokes. But anyway, that's it. Everybody was like, oh, because all they just saw was a vagina, right? And I was like, it's not just a vagina. It is the flower. It is the great lotus. It is that chakra that separates heaven and earth, or meets at heaven and earth. There you go. So that's my first painting in many years. I can't even remember the last time like I painted a painting. Yep. So that's what I did yesterday. It was dope. It was fun. And it's funny because I did that yesterday, and Sunday I did a reading for this sister, and she showed me a painting. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to a painting brunch tomorrow. She went to a painting puff. She's on the other side of the country. She's like, I want to show you the painting that I did at this painting puff. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, oh, cool. I'm doing a painting brunch the next day. She showed me the picture. I was like, oh, girl, that's powerful. That's so dope. And she was like, yeah, it's a bunch of buds. Like, weed flowers, weed buds. I was like, that's what it is? She was like, yeah, what'd you think it was? First of all, it wasn't in my frame of reference because I don't smoke weed. I don't consume cannabis at all, right? It's just not it wasn't on my radar. I was like, oh, no, I can see it now. She was like, what'd you think it was? I said, honestly, because the whole painting was just these bud flowers. I was like, honestly,
I said, all I saw was a whole bunch of hairy vaginas. Hold on. I said, all I saw was a whole painting of a whole population of hairy vaginas. She was like, she's showing it to me and she looks at it. She was like, oh shit. Maybe I did that subconsciously. So I think that might have been what inspired my painting brush, was because the previous day, this sister that I did a reading for had a painting full of hairy vaginas. Anyway, all right, you guys. So make sure to, I'm gonna get up off here so I can go ahead and do the comment post so y'all can share that with others. And make sure to email me after you send, I'm getting all y'all delayed reactions. After you pay for your raffle tickets. Those of you who are just hearing this, so we're doing a raffle for a free 60-minute divination, a 30-minute divination, and a 60-minute wellness consult, 5 elements wellness consult. So the two 60-minute readings, the consult and the divination, are $20 for the raffle ticket. The 30-minute reading is $10 for the raffle ticket. I'm doing 3 raffle pulls tomorrow, live raffle pulls. So I'll do 3 short lives throughout the day to announce who won the raffle. That's going to be at noon, at 5 p.m., and at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Noon, 5, and 9 Pacific Standard Time. So be paying attention to the notifications from YouTube, because I'll post those tonight too. For the details on the raffle, how to buy your raffle tickets. It's for whether you are virtual or whether you are local. A 60-minute divination, a 30-minute divination, and a 60-minute wellness consultation. Okay, let's see what y'all talking about here. I feel a lot of things, but funny enough, fear is very low on the list. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm almost caught up. Okay, cool. You've got like 5 emails from me tonight. They're going to put me in spam. No, I got you saved on the list, boo, so you should be fine. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Keep your ear to your notifications so that you can catch the lives. I'll be doing polls for each of those at each hour. So 60-minute reading, 30-minute reading, and a 60-minute consult. Three of those things at noon, 3 of those things at 5, 3 of those things at 9. Okay. So if there is the opportunity, a good opportunity to win. So help me get people to purchase these raffle tickets. Okay. Because this is something I could see doing once a week, like a raffle once a week for people to win a free divination or a free wellness consult. Okay. All right. And then again, just to reiterate for those of you who are late coming on, if you need to contact me, if you need to inquire about purchasing a divination or wellness consult, email me at EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. EvoEmeTemp, EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. All right. Now I'm going to go because I still got a lot to do. I'm going to be up for a while. Okay. Good night. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, Mommy and I are one.